Welcome back to the Late Shift, Hall of Fame College Football's Late Shift. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. Before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome into the show, Moosehead. Good to see you, my guy. First guy in. Make sure you check in when you get in, folks. Let's see how many we got in here so far. Only a couple, it appears. Come on. Everybody hop in. Check in. We're going to do a call-in show. We're going to need people to do it. Welcome in, though, everybody. Talking some college football on this late night here on Hall of Fame College Football. How's everybody's weekend so far? Boy, come on. Anybody? Let's see. Looky there. Hey, what's up there, Satterfield? Good to see you, my guy. Good to see everybody in here. I keep on kind of rearranging my background there, as you guys can see, the woodshed. Just trying to clean it up a little bit, make it look doable. Let's see what we got. Who we got in here in the Rumble feed? Could that be Hankster? Come on, Hankster. Somebody check in from over there on Rumble. That'd be cool. Love to see it. Let's see. So for you Oklahoma guys that were in here earlier, you're already in here. What is your thoughts about these? Who's in here? Let's see. I was trying to see who was in there. I don't know if you guys watched. Hey, there's old Smook. What's up there, Smook? You want to pop in, see what's up? We're just doing some late night talking. We're going to do best bets on college football. What's the best? Dang, Coach Rick's awake too. Dang, we just bring the crew together if y'all want to. Bring it on. Come on. What up? You guys want a link? Well, that link is actually pinned to the top. So if you guys want to pop in, do so. I can let you in. Anybody else, I won't put your face up there. But if you'd like to call in to talk about this stuff as we go, that would be great. Let's see. Question about growing the channel. If you talked more about Texas versus their schedule, you get more eyes and ears. Maybe a little bit. That could happen, I guess. What's up there, Jordan? Check it out. Scott Walker. Jordan from the AAA fam. Question, though, at hand. If you talk more about Texas versus their schedule, you could get more eyes and ears. You might. But I don't know, man. There's only so much you can say as far as what that looks like. Now, we could go on and go week to week and all that kind of stuff, but you really don't know what's going to happen from week to week. I think starting off, they've got it rough. I would also say that I think Ohio State, with new coordinators on both sides, although neither one of them are new to the program, they both were there last year. It's not like they have to make big changes, but when you're the one calling the plays from play to play, it changes things up a little bit, right? So as far as going into the shoe, I know they're talking about it possibly not being a noon game kickoff. My feeling is it's probably going to stay there because that's just how Fox wants it, and they're not going to change any of that. As far as, well, I guess they could, but I just don't really see them doing it. But a noon game at the shoe, or even if it was a night game, I think it's going to be a tough one for you to get up for and be able to get a win in there if it's a loud, rowdy crowd like it should be. Now, you could look at the other side of it a couple of different ways. I think you could look at everything a couple of ways. But as far as Ohio State's concerned, if they're putting a banner up and doing all that kind of stuff, doing the pregame, hoopla over winning the Natty last season, are they completely focused on what's going on the field? Maybe, maybe not. The fans, though, on the other hand, are going to be expecting a big performance from the Buckeyes going out on the field. Just like I know that you're obviously Texas fans will be doing the same. But are we going to? But I would just tell you that where I'm at with Texas is where I've been. I just think you have to have a lot of things go right in order for them to do the same thing that they did the last couple of years, which is make a run at it. Do I think they win the national championship? I don't. Even if they get into the field, I don't think they win the national championship. I think there's a better chance, though, of Texas not even making the college football playoff than there is them winning the national championship. The reason being, pretty simple, that they had a lot of experienced talent on the roster the last 2 years that didn't get it done. And in those 2 years, they've basically lost, 25, 26 guys to the NFL draft. That's a lot of turnover. That's a lot of turnover. So I struggle to believe that that's how it's going to work out, right? It's just simple. It's simple. Texas is like where OU was last year. What's up there, Stephen G? I like it. Yeah, maybe. That's possible. I think in order to be where OU was last year, though, you're going to have the injuries to go with it, too. But yeah, a lot of unproven talent, man. A lot of unproven talent. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think that Arch is going to suck or he's just there because of his name, blah, blah, blah. I think it's clear he's pretty damn good, right? I think he's going to be pretty damn good. Again, I just think it's a lot to ask for. Now, there's other questions other than just Texas, just Oklahoma, just whatever. Auburn, for instance, we were talking, we were just talking about Oklahoma last year. Auburn has its hopes pinned, at least seemingly, on Jackson Arnold, Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold. Now, you've got a really good receiving core out there, but do you have a guy there in Jackson that isn't afraid to throw it out there? I would have a hard time if I'm an Auburn fan believing, after what I saw a year ago, believing that Jackson Arnold's going to go out there and light up anybody. That's just me. They have, yeah, something's wrong with his hand for sure. I like it, Scott Walker. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I'm not going to throw that up there, though. What's up there, Bishop Frank? Scott Walker, Satterfield. Drew, welcome into the show. Good to see everybody in here. Yeah. Now, another big question. It appears, let me get to the Vegas odds. I'm not just going to go with your FanDuel odds and stuff like that because I don't think it really represents overall Las Vegas on where they feel like they are right now. Let's see. All right. National championship odds. You've got Texas at plus 500. That's tied with Ohio State. Georgia's right behind that. Penn State's right behind that. Oregon's right behind that. Another one of the questions I had, can Oregon, with a new quarterback also, take the next step, though? They won the Big Ten. Can they take the next step and win a national championship? They're at plus 750 to do it at MGM. Notre Dame would be next in line to do that, followed by Alabama. Now, I think Alabama, if we're talking about best bets, the link is at the top of the Coach Ricks. It's pinned to the top of the comments, but I'll send it to you. Hold on. There it is. It's in there, Coach. All right. Let's see. That ain't it. All right. Let's see if I can get. Where was I? Oh, talking about if you're looking at these odds. Okay. Now, Notre Dame, I think they're a great pick because I've got them at number one. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, it doesn't really mean anything. But if you're going by Vegas odds and where you think that and if you really think somebody has a shot, that is, you got to kind of look at them as, okay, yeah, I like their chances, right? Let's see where you guys at. Just checking in from Tejas, the Astro from space. What's up, Astro? Appreciate you, sir. Sooner Legend. What's up there, Legend? Comanche Sooner, Astro from space. Drew. Let's see. Good to see you guys all in here. But going back to that, now, if you're just looking at good bets, best bets, I think I'll just, save some of the suspense. I think the best, easiest bet in here is the over 6.5 for Oklahoma. I think they're anywhere close to 6 wins. I think they end up at 8, at worst. So I think that's free money for anybody who wants to go bet it. And that is on FanDuel. It'd be 6.5 wins over under that. I think that's free money. So as far as OU's odds to win the national championship, OU's odds to win the national championship plus 6,500, which would be, if you think they're going to win the Natty, that's probably a pretty damn good bet. 1 second here. All right. So on the phone, we have Bishop Frank in here. What's up there, Bishop Frank? Can you hear me? I don't hear you. Hello. I don't hear you, Bishop. I see you here. No, it kicked him. It's showing you're kicked. Let's see. Let me check. Go ahead, try to talk now. No, it did kick him now. Okay. Never mind. Women's College World Series final is going to be Texas Tech versus OU. Ooh, buddy. Oh, come on now, Sooner Legend. All you got to are they going to get 7 wins or less? That's all you got to know. If you think that they would not hit 7, if they don't get to 7, that's be under 6.5. So it's pretty easy. Come on now. I'm moving to 7. It's moving to 7 to some places. People move fast. Yeah. And I think that's what I said. It's giving money away right now. Giving money away. Yes. Hey, I'm going to leave that up there for a second. I'm not responsible for your betting a potential monetary loss. Please bet responsibly. Thank you, Stephen G. You are the man. I love it. Good stuff. I heard a betting podcast say if you take the under on all teams, you statistically have an edge against the casino. Basically, everyone is optimistic about their team. Yeah. And I think that's, you know what, Drew? I appreciate this because having lived in Vegas for I lived there for 15 years before moving back to the hometown area for a little while. But essentially what people don't realize is it's not just people that you've got some grand poobah in the back behind the curtains there in Vegas that says, this team is going to win it, right? it always goes by action. So wherever the number is, that means that you have X amount of bets on one side, X amount of bets on the other. So the casino wants to make sure that they are not at risk. Okay. They want to make sure they're not at risk of losing their own money. Whatever the bets are, they want them covered by the other side. Right. So if you have let's say Texas. Texas is one of the leaders for winning the national championship. So right now you're talking plus 500, plus 550, depending on where you're looking at. FanDuel has it at plus 600. Okay. So if you were to, let's say you're betting $100 on Texas to win it. That means you'll win 600. On top of that, you take home 7. But that's low in comparison to a lot of teams. Fans are, again, and especially this year, I think that there's not that many, or there's a bunch of teams that could potentially win it. I don't think that there's anybody that's an overwhelming favorite to do anything. But right now, you see, okay, Texas is at plus 600. So if you get a shit ton of bets on Texas now, and a bunch, I'm saying everybody's betting them to win the national championship. What you'll see is that'll go down to plus 250, plus 300, plus 400, something like that. Because now you don't have as good of odds. You got better odds to do it. Now, it might be easier to look at it at like Clemson, for instance, because a lot of people have Clemson as one of those best teams to kind of get that done. Hold on real quick, Coach Tricks. I'll bring you in. So a lot of people have Clemson as one of the favorites, right? According to Vegas, though, they're not really that much of a favorite. It's more, they've got them at like plus 2,000 at MGM, plus 1,600, somewhere in there. So if you had a bunch of people that started betting Clemson right now, it could drop to like 1,000 or something like that, plus 1,000, whatever. But basically, all it is they're going to change the odds based on the action they're getting. It always goes on action. It's not necessarily on, like I said, it's not who may, there's not some guy in the back saying this is the, clairvoyant, hey, we're going to win it. You know what I mean? That's not really how it works. They just go by, they're going to set odds based on what can make them the most money, what can bring the most bets in there to it. What's up there, Coach Ricks? Welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on, big dog?
What are you up to, man? It's a little late for you, ain't it?
Man, I've been under the weather for the last 4 days, so I'm just now getting back to at least talking. Couldn't talk. So it's been a bad few days for me, man.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I had a rough week. It wasn't from sickness, but it was from, just shit, just bullshit.
Man, look, I've canceled 3 shows because I really couldn't. Amy was not going to let me do nothing. So I'm back a little bit better. I think me and Bishop Frank talked earlier, so at least I can talk now and hold down some liquid and hold down some food, so I'm pretty good. Let's talk about what's on the agenda for today. I can't hear you. Did I mute you?
Oh, no, I'm muted. What's up, Bishop Frank? We got you in here now, too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man.
All right, then.
We got you on the call-in line. No, man, we're talking best bets for the year. Some of them we've already kind of talked about, whether it's, I was thinking who's got the best odds or whatever to win the Natty and that could hit. So it would be a good bet for you, right? I think the best bet right now so far for me would be, I think it's giving money away to have Oklahoma at plus 6.5 over or under. I think they hit 8, and that's probably their bottom, right? If of course all this is depending on health or whatever, but I think that hits pretty easy. And right now it is starting to move the other way. I think you're getting enough bets on Oklahoma that the reason that it moved to 7, Stephen G was saying in there, you're seeing a lot of places are already at 7. That's because you're getting a lot of bets on OU already. So if you're going to do it, you better do it now. It definitely would be better to hit at 7. half. Or
That's free. That's free money.
free money. Free money.
Yeah, no
Um,
doubt. I think people are hedging their bets because they start realizing last year was an anomaly, and that it's a potential to have our stuff together.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and as Drew says, the stock price goes up because more people want to buy than want to sell, and vice versa. Correct. Correct.
Oh yeah.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, and the value on OU, yeah, to win the Natty is a good value. I think it'd be closer to 5,000 is what Drew says. Yeah, so plus 5,000 to win it. You know, I think either one is good value because if you're betting 100 and you're going to get 5,000 on top of that or 6,500 on top of that, that's good value, especially when you compare it to Texas or Ohio State, which is at more like 500, 600 to win it, plus 500, plus 600, somewhere in that area, right? Now, is that a great bet? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm picking Oklahoma to win the national championship.
No.
But the value-wise, you could say, hell yeah, it's a great bet because if you hit it, you know, that's 50 times your money.
What's the bet on Notre Dame?
Yeah, they're just outside of the top 5 on odds. So they'd be at plus 1,400 to win the national championship. I think that's great, a great bet
Yes.
right there.
Real good bet.
Because I have them at number 1 right now myself. Again, I think there's any of 4, 5, 6 teams that should be number 1 right now in the country. If you're kind of looking at that. What's up there, Ganj? Benji? What's up, y'all? Good to see Benji said that guy Piquel kind of got everyone to buy in the over for OU. Oh, yeah, he was talking about that, yesterday? I saw that too. Benji was talking about optimistic on the Horns. Best bet would be taking the over on them. So what is their over under on Texas? Let's see. Let's take a look at Texas. That's just a matchup right there. Win totals. Here we go. Win totals for Texas. They've got them at 9.5. I don't know that I would think that that's the best bet. I understand you believing that they're going to hit 10 again. But I don't know because I could sit here and tell you that I think it might be a good bet to bet under on there. I think it might be a better bet to bet under because, as I said, as far as winning the Natty, I don't see them winning the Natty. I think that there's a better shot of them missing the playoff than there is them winning the Natty, or even probably playing for the Natty. You got to figure going into week 1, you got to go to the shoe to play the defending champs, who still have the best player on the offense in Jeremiah Smith.
Oh yeah,
the best player on defense in Caleb Downs, arguably the best player on defense in Caleb Downs, right? That's and you got to play at the shoot. So just there's a loss right there. If you win it, great. Now your odds probably go up a little bit. But it doesn't get easier because then you've got the week before Oklahoma, you got Florida in the Swamp. Now Oklahoma's playing Kent State at home. You're on the road at the Swamp. That's tough. I think even if you win that one, the odds of you beating Oklahoma. Now, if you win that one and you've already won Ohio State, yeah, you're in. You should hit 10, right? Because even if you lose to Oklahoma and Georgia, chances are maybe you still. I would think you would have to. It's not a guarantee even because if you were to lose to Oklahoma, which I think you're losing to Oklahoma this year. That being said, let's say you lose to Oklahoma, you're undefeated up to that point. Now, what happens with Georgia, A&M, Arkansas, I guess? Vandy kind of gave you a game, but they gave you a game in Nashville. I don't know that that's the same thing as having to go to Austin and deal with you. There's a few roadblocks, but I would think if you go into the Oklahoma game undefeated, the chances of you hitting that over would be pretty good. I don't know that you're going to go into that undefeated, though. You know, I don't know that it would be my best bet. I don't know if it'd be my best bet. UT fan Drew says not a good value at 9.5. It's dead on is what he thinks it is. Yeah.
Well, most Texas fans are going to take that bet, and they might lose money because they're betting with their heart.
Right. Well, and that's why I think that the bet, I think Benji saying that is probably a little of him betting with his heart, right?
Yeah.
That they're going to hit 10 again. I still think that your schedule is not as hard as Oklahoma's, it's not as hard as Florida's or even like South Carolina's, you know. But I think it's tougher than we originally thought it was, especially going into like last year. Right.
Yeah.
So same schedule swapped with, you know, this year. Talking about teams though that I don't know that they're where their odds are saying. Georgia at 9.5, I think, is a sucker bet. I don't see them winning 10. They also have a tough schedule, and they're brand new everywhere too, as in everywhere.
Yeah.
They're even going to the transfer portal for defensive linemen, which is not something that you would normally see. Yeah. Your optimism is that Sark has this team ready to come the first or second week of the season in a marquee matchup. I get it. And you said yourself, Benji, that you're going to be there, so you expect them to be there because they're undefeated when you're in the house. That's the definition of betting with one's heart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, just for Benji,
the brand has finally returned. Your brand.
Man, look.
Texas A&M getting beat in softball was wild, bro.
Dude, a number one team, a number one seed getting beat.
Why the hell are they the number one seed anyway?
Because everyone feels like they played a better schedule than Oklahoma.
Wow.
And then LSU getting curb stomped by South Louisiana State. Man, come on, man.
Twice.
That was in baseball or in
softball?
In softball. They're out?
They're out. LSU's out. Number 10 seed out.
And that's their region. They're hosting.
And they got beat at home.
They got knocked out of it at home. Who beat them?
Dude, South Louisiana State, something like that. Southeastern
Louisiana State.
Yeah. Oh. Them girls, man, was smacking that ball all over the damn field, man. No matter what picture they put in, they were smacking that shit.
They turned Baton Rouge into their house.
Man, hey. They can say what they want to say, man. Oh, you girls look good, man. But it's
look, I think if we're talking odds, and I mean, let's try to keep it at least somewhat on track, but just think of that. If you're betting that Oklahoma wins the 5P, whether it's before the season, even mid-season, maybe even now, that's a tough bet to make because there's a lot of really, really good softball teams out there. We've seen Oklahoma struggle at times, particularly I think it's their pitching more than anything else that you're not completely trusting, right? I think Sam is fantastic. I think she gives up runs and walks.
Yeah.
And at the wrong time in a tournament setting, that can bite you in the ass.
But here's the thing, Jason. They're doing that against top teams. They're not doing that shit against teams that ain't. Man, look. Put it to you like this. Like Patty said, that SEC schedule they played, it made them battle tested.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit really comes into play if you haven't played nobody. Now, Texas A&M playing in their own region, you put up one run against a mediocre team.
Yeah.
So they better pray that Oklahoma don't get it together here soon.
Well, no, and I think they already kind of have. If we're talking, that's what I was saying. I don't know what a great bet it would have been 3-4 months ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. Today, it's not a terrible. I think it's even money bet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You'll break even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that right now, you got to look at it as now they've gone through an entire season. Now you have freshmen who are seasoned.
Yeah.
And have come through in big times. I mean, hell, they've been behind 7-8 runs in games and found a way to come back and win the fucking game. Unbelievable. The one was Alabama. Weren't they down like 7 runs or something like that on the road at Alabama?
It was, something like that.
7 or
Something
8
like
runs or something like that. It was wild. So they've had enough success in these times where Patty was talking about it the other day. She was like, I don't know. I can't tell you that I'm flipping any switches or doing anything like that. I'm surprised at how clutch they come through at the right time, it feels like.
Those
Especially
freshmen,
hitting
man.
a bunch of freshmen hitting bombs the way they are. Gabby, one of the leaders in the country in home runs. She hit number 17 today. They went over 100 home runs for the 5th year or 6th year or something like that in a row today. I mean, these are all things that when you lose the seniors that you lost last year, if you were going to get Oklahoma, you should do it now because you may not have a chance to do that.
Yeah, Jimmy. Oklahoma State got beat by the Arkansas, but they beat Arkansas first.
Oh yeah,
put Arkansas in the losing bracket.
Still though, that's
so Arkansas in the losing bracket.
State, those are two really good teams. Period.
Yeah. But we talk about the teams, man, that we thought that was going to be good. To have Texas A&M already in the losing bracket, to have teams like LSU get knocked out, having someone like Arkansas, who I feel, man, is a dangerous ass team, to be in the losing bracket. That's wild right now. That is, I mean, I didn't see this coming. So maybe putting Oklahoma in the number 2 seed wasn't a bad look.
Well, I don't think it was the best look because I think that, to me, I feel like it was kind of bullshit.
The committee was like, we're tired of seeing Oklahoma ass in number 1.
I think that's exactly what it was. I think that's precisely what it was. It was more about having OU fatigue than it is about who you think is really the best team.
Yeah.
Texas A&M had a better RPI. I don't know what even that means right now at this point. I mean, maybe they played a better schedule. Maybe they did this or that. I don't know. Whatever. In the end, OU, they don't know what it's like to lose these things. Nobody in that room has a clue of what it's like to not hoist that trophy except for the freshmen. But anybody who's been on this team has had that trophy at the end of the year.
Facts. And if you think about it, think about the Arkansas in regional play. They were down 6-1, came back in walk-off fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's stick to what we were kind of talking about, though, because I think we're still kind of in that.
Got you.
All right. LSU can take a loss at Oklahoma. I think the schedule works well for Texas because – okay, let's go back to what Drew was talking about.
Okay.
I think the schedule works well for Texas because they have buys before their tough games. Last year, both their losses to Georgia were right after playing a rival, OU and A&M. All right. Fine. That's where we're going to go with that. Let's look at it this way. You still had plenty of chances to win the SEC championship whenever, the starting quarterback went down for Georgia. And you had the entire second half to win the game and didn't do it. So, it is what it is. What's up there, Kimberly K? And you're up late this evening. But I'm looking at the schedule right here. I pulled it up. Okay, your bye is before Sam Houston, which essentially is you saying that Sam Houston State's going to be an easy money game. You're looking at Florida. It doesn't change the fact that you've got Florida on the road in the swamp, which is traditionally one of the toughest places in the country to play by a lot, followed by Oklahoma, which no matter even if Oklahoma sucks, it's a lot going to be taken out of you to win that game. You're going to have a lot out of you to stay competitive, I think, at the swamp against a formidable defense, but particularly on the defensive line. I think that Florida is one of the top defensive line teams in the country. They're going to be one of the better defenses in the country. DJ Lagway, if he's healthy, is going to give everybody fits because not only, he can sling it, all that stuff, but you're not just going to get to him. He's not a pocket guy. You have to be worried about what he does at all times. If you get pressure on him, can you get him down? Because if not, he's liable to go for 25 yards with his feet.
Oh, yeah.
He's that kind of guy. DJ
Absolutely.
Lockway, he makes Florida dangerous. Dangerous. Go ahead. Who was about to say something? Was that you, Bishop?
I think a Bishop.
No, I was disagreeing with you.
Okay. Like the clean shaven look. It's not exactly clean shaven, but it's cleaner. I don't know. I'm still not loving it. With Florida, they could be really tough, or they might be spiraling. DJ's shoulder still isn't right. That's not the reports out of there is saying that he's going to be okay. In any of it, here's the deal. It's not like they're worse anywhere else at Florida. I guess if he was already out or whatever, yeah, they could be spiraling. In my opinion, you look at Florida's schedule. I mean, it's not easy, but their first tough game is week 3. They play LSU on the road. Then they got Miami at home the week after that. Then they get to Texas. So at worst, they're 2-2, but coming off of a bye. Now they have a bye right going into that game. So where you're talking about your buys are in good places, they're not as in good a place as what Florida's is for that one. So I don't know, man. I think that's a tough one.
I think that everybody's not looking at the right games. The right games and everything. When you just said, well, they got so-and-so, that should be a cakewalk. Those cakewalks end up being the games that you really don't want to play. And you go in there thinking that you're going to do one thing and you do another. So I think that Florida game is going to be very crucial for Texas. It's going to be a very physical game. And then you got to play a back-to-back game against another physical team like Oklahoma. That doesn't pan well for your offensive line that's struggling right now.
Yeah.
Texas what? What did he say? Texas what?
Texas did win had it hit one of 2 field goals. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
We'd all be drunk.
If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Oklahoma had their receivers.
They would have won 4 other games if they were worth the shit on offense. See how that works? Look, and this is the time to do that. I get it. This is the time of the year that everybody does that. You know, if everything had gone right, this is how it would have been. This is why you can't really look at just last year anyways. It's about this football team, what this team does. You know, and especially in the case of, so for Texas, especially you start talking about last year, Texas doesn't have the same football team as it had last year. Not even kind of. You've got 4 or 5 offensive linemen replacing you. You've got a bunch of guys on the defensive side that you're replacing on the interior, in the secondary. I know you still got Michael Taft back there. I know that you still you brought Muhammad back in there, and then of course you have what's his name, the linebacker there.
Hill.
Yeah, Hill. Yeah, he's a badass.
Yeah,
but saying that that's the same defense that you had last year is not true. It's not a true statement. Saying that it's the same offense, that it's gonna, you lost basically every receiver, other than the two guys that they combined, the freshman guys, or one was a freshman, true freshman, and the other one I think he's a sophomore, maybe a redshirt sophomore, something like that. They didn't really combine for much. I mean, when we start talking about your freshman guy that everybody seems to love, you know, Ryan Wingo, he had one 100-yard game, 1 touchdown. It's not exactly Ryan Williams.
Thanks.
You know, should they be good? And this isn't me saying that I think Texas sucks. I don't think Texas sucks. I think that Sark has done a fantastic job on the recruiting trail. They've got talent everywhere.
Yeah.
But are they all developed up to the point that now you make them a favorite for the national championship? No, you can't say that because you haven't seen them do it. You didn't see them do it with a bunch of guys that were developed up. I have a hard time believing that now all of a sudden the light clicks, boom, there it is. Yeah, Ant Hill's who I was talking about. He's a stud.
Yeah. As many as they got out of the portal, how can they get some consistency.
Well,
So it's a lot.
yeah, that's what their portal stuff they were talking about. Well, yeah, they went out there and got 5 guys in the spring on the D line on the interior. I'm like, what? In the regular portal, there's maybe 2 or 3 guys that are difference makers at that position. Because if you got a badass on the interior of your defensive line, you ain't letting his ass go nowhere.
No.
You're gonna pay him.
Well, they're going to see. I mean, I think the realization is Texas is going to see how hard it is to maintain that stigma of great players. You have great players all you want to and everything, man, but is that cohesiveness going to be there? Are they going to gel together? Are they going to make things happen? When you get battle tested and you start seeing these things, okay, we're not far along as we thought we were. We're not as good as we thought we were. They're not there yet. It's not it don't mean that they're bad. It just means that they don't have it clicking right now. And when Texas fans start to realize that, they'll get better, man. But to start off with Ohio State, then you go into Florida. That's 2 games, man, that I just don't see you guys winning. That's a hard ask to go into the swamp and get that W with an offensive line that isn't jailed.
And it may be jailed. Look, I mean, they may still be right there. We know that that's one of the places they recruited very well. You know, I would tell you that I think that they're probably as close to what they're going to be offense. If I'm going to hang my hat on anything at Texas, it would be on offense.
Oh yeah,
because of Sark.
He's going to draw up some plays and everything, but
at the very least, his script is going to be fucking good, right? His early game script is going to be right on.
Absolutely.
What he does after that, we'll see. But I have more trust in what they're going to do offensively than anything else. Now, defensively, PK's done a good job overall. I think that there's questions that have to be answered there, and you can't say that getting 5 brand new dudes on the interior of the D line is all of a sudden, poof, we're fixed.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. I know everybody's excited about Colin Simmons. You had a guy on the other side that everybody had to account for last year that's no longer there.
Oh yeah.
You can't chip and double team on that same dude, or you're not going to leave the freshman open anymore. You're calling open anymore because you have to make sure that you take care of the guys on the interior on the other side. There's just a lot of things that have to happen correctly. Now, I would tell you the same thing for Oklahoma. Just so before we get this twisted and this is an OU Texas go fuck each other thing, that's not what I'm saying. Because OU has to have some things go right too.
Yeah.
They do. But OU has more returning, production by a lot than Texas does. Texas is in the hundreds. OU's in the top 10.
Yeah.
The talk about Oklahoma and their offensive line, okay, you could say that they've got a lot of returning production even, and a lot of it was you had a lot of freshmen and a lot of guys that probably shouldn't have been playing on the O-line. The injuries forced them to go to where they were. I think on top of that, I think the biggest part of it was the scheme and just not really, there's a lot of things that went wrong on that offense, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking about, there's a bunch of dudes in there, and not forget about Fasusi, forget about Foji. I don't care about the freshmen. I'm talking about the guys that were already there. There's a lot of talent that's coming in healthy this year onto that offensive line that now, because of the injuries last year, they're a little battle tested. They've been in the trenches in the SEC. And so because it's Bill Bedenbaugh, I would tell you, yeah, I absolutely believe that they're getting developed. They've been developed up to another level, right? Ready for this task. What do you feel about that, Coach?
I think that you're absolutely right, because a lot of people, man, they're looking at last year and trying to make it make sense for this year. When you go, I mean, we keep using that word battle tested. We had guys that played last year that were not supposed to play. Now those guys that were not supposed to play, that played last year, they're only going to get better this year. And we got the guys that were healthy, that were hurt last year. They're back. So we have that depth. I'm looking at what Drew is saying. Drew is saying something about Texas D line is going to be good, or going to be. Do they have the depth that they had last year? No. They got a few guys that are there that can run, but once they go out, once they sub out, or if they get hurt or whatever, now, oh well, so and so got hurt. You're going to use the same fucking excuse me. You're gonna use the same damn excuse that OU used last year.
You know, you can use the F word over here.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You're gonna have the same excuse OU guys used last year. If so and so wouldn't have got hurt, we would be this way. I think Texas is good, but I'm just saying Texas is not going to be as good as they were last year. And I think people get lost in that, thinking that we're downing Texas. We're not downing Texas. We're just saying the same thing that you guys told us. They're not going to be really that good this year because they don't have the depth they had last year. You can't lose that many guys and still be elite. You use the word elite in your statement. You can't have that many guys, lose that many guys and be elite still. You might have an elite player or two, but that's it. Depth is good on Texas D-line. Okay. All right.
The depth is good. I don't know about all that. Let's get it twisted, Jason. But Drew, what are you saying? You're letting me know what? No, or Nate, what were you saying you're letting me know?
I'm trying to figure that out too.
I that was the first thing that you said. Let me know what.
I get what he's saying, but we're not downing Texas. We're just saying that they're not. I don't understand. Y'all literally said that this last year losing Sweat.
Okay, and I'll admit to that. I did say that losing Sweat and Murphy, but the difference was you needed to replace one or two guys.
Also,
you needed to replace those guys, but they had some guys that had been on that rotation. That's not the same thing right now. That's not the same thing right now.
Let's not lose track of the question. What high-powered offense did Texas play last year?
Right. No, that's true. That's true.
What high-powered? You played a high school, middle school schedule, and you think that those guys? Okay, let's just get real to it then. If you want to say this, I played pissy-ass teams last year and didn't really play nobody to be tested. So if we really want to try to throw out, now I'm awake. If you want to throw apples and oranges, they didn't really play no damn body. They played Vanderbilt, struggled with them. They're not a high-powered offense. Georgia's quarterback went down. You didn't really play good against them. They didn't play a top 20 offense the whole fucking season. What top offense did they play? Is all that I'm asking. We're not down in Texas. I'm just saying, what high-powered offense did you guys play last year to warrant you guys got all these elite guys coming back on defense? That's all I'm asking.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, so Benji says, not worried about the DTs this deep with guys who have production, but I do think production where, but I do think the defensive ends outside the starters is a question mark. I would agree with that too. Again, like I said, you don't have Colin Simmons. You know why they call it a sophomore slump? Because sometimes the freshman that comes in, he's overlooked as a freshman because they're planning on the guy that's a junior or senior or whatever. They're game planning against that cat. So the freshman, all of a sudden, he's got some skill and talent. So they're automatically, going to say, yeah, we're worried about that guy. So he has a really good season because you weren't really thinking of it. Now you're not sneaking up on nobody with Colin Simmons. Now he's going to catch a lot of those double teams. They're going to chip on him. They're going to make sure that their eyes are on him all the time. He could have not as good. I'm not saying he's not going to be better. I think he's going to be better. I would tell you that, just click the button there, Shawty, and you can. Don't just let Bishop Frank. Oh, he's gone too. Yeah, we need the next caller. Let's go. Talk that shit. That's all good. But again, like I was saying, you're not going to be able to do. And again, it's like I said, there's not any one thing that's telling me that Texas is not going to be good. I'm telling you they're going to be good. I'm telling you they're not a national championship favorite in my mind. They're not. And again, I would tell you that there's a better chance that they miss the fucker than there is that they win the whole thing. You got to go to, Ohio State may not matter in the SEC race, but it does matter whenever because let's say you sneak in to, even if you were to find your way into the SEC championship game at 9-3, you're not going to, if you lose that SEC championship game, you're not going to the playoff. You're not. And again, I'm not, and thank you, Benji. I would just tell you, I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be still good. And I think the worry that I have about Texas is next year and the year after that. Because I love their freshman class of receivers. And I even like Ryan Wingo. I'm not mistaking Ryan Wingo with Ryan Williams.
That's a big difference.
It is.
That's a real big difference.
Yeah. Let's see. See who else was saying. Somebody call in. Come on now. Shawty, the name's there. It's there. All you got to do is just come on in. It's pinned to the top of the.
My bad, Nathan.
You were talking about the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
What? I don't even know what that means. Mississippi State moved the ball on Texas too. Yeah, and look, I think that's a great. You were making great points on that part. You didn't really play. Yes, their defense was good against half-ass offenses, but again, and I would just piggyback off of that by saying this is the same reason why you can't just go off of last year. I was watching Coach I and Shawty earlier from their show a couple of nights ago on the snap count. And they were breaking down receiver rooms and stuff. A lot of the guys that they were talking about, of course it's the adult version. You know this. It's the adult version in the morning.
Shorty's first question is an adult version.
But
it's past midnight.
And we were talking about this, but they were talking about the receiver rooms and stuff, and they were talking about returning production, whether it was there on the team. And this is how they ranked it out or whatever. And I understood exactly what they were saying. And a lot of that, but one of the things, I don't remember which one of them said it, was you still can't just go off of what happened last year because it doesn't matter a whole lot. You don't start from there. You've got new pieces everywhere. A lot of teams have new pieces everywhere, and there's going to be, you may be better at this, but you may be worse at this. So is that going to even itself out? We don't know. The reason that I feel like Texas, if I'm looking at last year versus this year, even last 2 years, how many guys did you lose to the draft in the last 2 years? 25 plus?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking draft picks, folks. I don't give a shit how well you're recruiting. That's a lot of fucking draft picks. This is a great comment. No, this isn't the Captain Kangaroo show. Art started against Mississippi State. Now, don't tell me you can't tell me that that's a bad thing and then tell me it's a great thing that he's your starter now. So don't do that, Drew. You better,
yourself.
Yeah. If you're going to do that way, I don't know. We lost a lot to the draft. I'm smiling. It's been a long time. No doubt. I get that. Oh, you Scooby 420. Should I believe in this little comment? I would tell you Oklahoma got better. Yes, they got better. There's also some subtractions, though, that you have to, if you're OU, you have to pay attention to the fact that they lost some. Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman aren't just easy to replace.
Shit, no.
Ethan Downs isn't just easy. Ethan Downs may not have been an All-American, but that's a dude. Ask anybody who ever had to play against him. Country strong motherfucker, you got to deal with. Play after play after play. Now, the guys that are replacing them, do I believe in them? Oh, yeah. And I think they went above and beyond to replace on the D line. That I think it's a net positive on the D line when you start thinking about Marvin Jones Jr. being in an ad, the fact that you got Dominic Williams to come back, that was important for him. And then you've got guys, you've got some guys that are going to be, in my opinion, even better at those positions. That being said, yeah, Ethan was solid. He wasn't going to get 15 sacks or even 15 tackles for loss. That's not who he was. What he was a solid dude that was going to give it to you. You were going to have to work your ass off play after play after play. In the fourth quarter, he might make a play because he's going to have worn you out already. So,
the one thing, man, that I love about this conversation between Scott and Nathan and Drew and all this about the contradiction and all this and the OU picks.
Yeah. The contradiction would be what I was saying, but if we're talking about Arch, you're saying he started at Mississippi State. Yeah, they won the game. But if you're saying the reason that they were in it was because he started, I would look at that stat line and tell you bullshit. He did his thing.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're saying that was the reason that Mississippi State stayed close in Austin, by the way, then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Who's the best D line in the NFL right now that's from Texas?
The best D lineman would be Murphy or Sweat.
That everybody talks about. So either those two. Mm-hmm. All right. So
I think Sweat had probably a better first year.
Answer the question about the OU players and Texas players. There are a lot more OU players in the NFL that are being more productive on defense and offense than Texas. So just because we didn't get the draft picks that you guys got this year doesn't mean that the productivity is not there. There's guys that are playing in the NFL right now that did not get drafted that they got picked up, that are gelling now and that are making money now. And so you can't make the comparison just because Texas had one good year on drafts that there's also something better than Oklahoma players in the NFL. It's a yin and yang, man. We're going to find potholes. We're going to find things wrong with Texas. Texas is going to find things wrong with us.
Sure.
It's just going to be that way. But at least we're not OU fans. We're not going on here talking about Texas fans and this and that. I could care less about a Texas player in the NFL than anywhere. We make a statement about you guys not being, the depth not being there. It's not saying the word that they're bad. We're just saying that the depth is not there right now.
Oh, no. I think they're depth-wise, yeah, you got a bunch of talent. No matter what part of the roster you're talking about with Texas, they've recruited their asses off since Sark got there. I'm not saying that there's not talent coming in. It's unproven talent. That was what I was saying about Coach I and Shoddy that they've been talking about.
Yeah.
Predictions, wins, and losses, he says. The spring game's over. The portal's now closed. How do we feel? Panel in the comments, or how the hell can I call it? Bro, it's at the top of the comment section that you're in. There's your link. Click and come on.
Thank you, Benji. Like I said, I'm never going to really bash anybody because I really don't have time for that. I just, when things don't make it, when it don't make sense, and we're sitting here going back and forth about something that happened a few years ago or that's not active right now, I just want to be consistent. That's all.
It's fair. It's a fair thing to say. Now, as far as, I would just say this about the last 2 years, and I think good for them, they've got all those guys in the draft. But what I was talking about is that's a great thing for you. But it also means that you've got a lot of depth that left that you didn't win the Natty with. And that's the reason why I'm telling you I don't think they're winning the national championship, because I don't think that the talent is as good and not just the talent. The talent may be actually better, but the developed talent isn't on the level of the developed talent the last 2 years. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
We got Drew calling in. Hold on real quick. Let me bring you in, Drew. 1 second.
What's up, Big Drew?
What's up, Drew? Can you hear me? You're going to have to unmute.
Okay, I can hear you.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you going? How's it going?
Good to have you on, man. Appreciate you calling in.
All right.
What you got?
Well, we all been talking for the last. I just figured we'd keep the conversation going. You know what I'm saying?
All right. What you got?
I don't know because I didn't hear the last minute, so I don't know where you guys went.
No, basically the last thing that was said is I was talking about the reason that I would tell you that I don't have Texas as a favorite to win the national championship is because you've lost 25 plus guys to the draft in the last 2 years, which means like those dudes were good enough to be NFL players. They're drafted to the NFL, which means that their production and their development was at a high.
Okay, well let me say this.
You don't have that right now in the same number. So I have a hard time believing that you're a favorite today when you weren't winning it the last 2 years.
Well, first of all, how's my sound on the microphone? Is everything clear?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Got you, man. You're
okay,
good.
yeah. Those are all. First of all, I'm going to be the last person here. I've been a Texas fan my whole life. Okay, I'm going to be the last person here to start taking the rat poison and start saying, "Oh yeah, Texas is definitely going to win the Natty." This, that. I'm just not going to do that. But with that said, if not Texas, then who? And do they not have all the same kind of problems or some other kind of problems, like they lost their coordinators or just complete unknown factors? Or you got Lagway, who frankly wasn't that impressive to me when he was healthy. Sometimes he was, but a lot of times he wasn't. So, and they got a tough schedule. Forget them. And that's why I think you start seeing these movements toward people saying things like Clemson. Right? So yeah. So maybe Texas isn't the favorite. And frankly, I don't want them to be the favorite. That doesn't fare well for me. But with all that said, if we're all gonna if I were actually having to put my money on it, where would I put my money? I don't know. Maybe I would put it on Texas. If I had to bet my last dollar on who's going to win the national championship this year, okay. That's a tough question. Where would you put that dollar?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on Texas.
I wouldn't just because I wouldn't want to just because I'd hedge my own personal, emotional bet. But set that aside, then who is the problem?
Well, you got.
Well, thank you, man, for the call. Thank you for being honest. I think what the question is and everything, and the answer that I have to that, what you just said is, we can sit here and poke holes in anybody's team. That they lost a coordinator, lost this, lost that, lost that. I think what it is right now is that everybody has this fascination of Texas has been there the last 2 years, so they're the clear-cut favorite. So a parent's presentation and what Sark has done over the last few years gives them the nod. My problem with that is, as we've seen over the last few years, when you lose that much on one side of the ball or on both sides, you're going to lose some type of cohesiveness and everything on the field. Okay, it's been a coach. I can tell you right now, even if you do have guys that come in and take that spot, it's going to take time for them to get to the level of what you just lost.
Can I challenge that for a moment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone said last year, right, that Texas has one of the best O lines. You remember that?
Yes.
Because they were cohesive. They've been together forever. Whole bunch of seniors. They had one of the best O lines. As it turns out, when they played against good defenses, they didn't have one of the best O lines, which probably cost us the SEC championship. And when it turns out, if you look at where those guys got drafted or didn't get drafted, it turns out the NFL didn't think that they were one of the best O-lines. So that was a narrative that got pushed one way or the other. And that, in my mind, kind of almost says to me that cohesive, don't get me wrong, obviously cohesiveness and those years together help, but I'd rather just have a new dog.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, like what you're saying is true, but to what degree? And, once again, I'm a Texas fan, so I watched everybody tell me how great my O-line was. And then when it came down to the brass tacks, that wasn't the case.
Okay, Drew. To help you out is this. The reason why they said that the reason why they said that you were so good is because of who you played. You played and we all know it's over now. You guys played a not so tough schedule last year. But then when you did get to the big boys, you struggled against those teams because you were not battle tested playing against that schedule that you had. So when you get to the teams that you're supposed to be battled with, you don't have it because you have not been tested against those other teams. That's a comparison that we can put on anybody. It's just fortunate enough that Texas got that peel because they started playing Georgia, lost 2 games against Georgia. Bigger and better. I don't know. You struggled against Arizona State. We don't know how good they really were. So it's apples to oranges. You guys were good against the teams you played. But who are we talking about? Mississippi State? Bad team. Bad.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna push back on all that. If you look at the totality of the entire schedule of all the people that Texas played last year, you can't find another team that has played a more difficult schedule than Texas. Last year.
What about Florida?
What?
Dude, we had to play.
Florida both played tougher schedules than Texas.
Oklahoma needs to play Georgia twice and go play OSU before you can start talking that.
You've played LSU. We've played Alabama. We played Tennessee.
Dude, you and I both know Alabama is on a decline. Hell, you guys beat them.
Wrong again. I don't know that at all. What I know is that they didn't have the right quarterback to beat OU that day.
Yes.
You
can't have a quarterback who wants to run.
Yeah, on that day.
Right.
Set that aside. Texas played Clemson, played Georgia twice, played OSU, played the national championship, played the defending national championship of Michigan, which by the time the season was over, actually it turns out they weren't that bad. And
Okay,
so I'm not buying all that. Like, had to play OU.
No, you're not getting away with that one. Come on, bro.
Okay, well, come on.
You got through.
No.
Once y'all played in the playoff, when you lost to Ohio State, you lost both those games to Georgia that you're talking about.
Well, I challenged the second Georgia game.
Why? You were playing
because
quarterback.
Because we knocked out the first one. Set all that aside, and that only benefited them.
Because it did not benefit them.
Yes, it did, because they got to put in a backup quarterback that we were not prepared for, and they had that one drive, which ultimately was the difference maker. But right after that drive, remember, he threw that interception that should have cost him the game, and we missed 2 field goals in the 40-yard range, and there were about 5 referee calls that were bad. I don't care what anybody says. Bad ref calls are bad ref calls. Hey, and by the way, just to show my intellectual honesty on it, I say the same thing about the bad call on the OSU game the year before for you guys.
In the end, it's still a loss, though. And bottom line,
yes, and that's fine. I'm not saying it wasn't a loss. I'm not saying it wasn't a loss. I'm just saying context matters.
I'll tell you the same thing I say about Bedlam. First off, Bedlam, yes, they got fucked out of that game in the end, but it should have never been to that point had it not been for.
Well, you can say that about every sporting event and every game in the history of mankind. So I don't buy that argument.
That point with Okie Light, because obviously Oklahoma was a much better team. They blew it. They blew that early on, allowing that to stay close way longer than they should have, which I would also tell you is a reason why I don't believe in Texas as much, because they play with their food an awful lot.
I mean, whatever that means.
It means that they allow teams that should not be into the football game with them to hang around in football games.
Yeah, you can literally say that about every single elite team.
I'm saying that about
throughout every single year. You can say that about Alabama through all of those years. You can say that about Georgia. Georgia damn near lost to Kentucky. You can say Georgia should have lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia shouldn't have even been in the SEC championship. They lost to Georgia Tech.
Hold on. We're talking about Texas. I'm telling you that I am saying it about Texas because it's been going on.
Okay, and I'm saying it about everybody.
Fine. Let me finish what I'm saying here. Don't make me mute you. I'm telling you that the reason that I'm telling you that is he's been doing it since he got there. This is year 5, and they've done that every year. They've had games that they either squeaked by or lost with teams that they should not have even been in the game with them. Houston, the year before K-State, Houston and K-State a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. Iowa State in that season too. BYU hung around that same year for a hell of a lot longer than they should have. Again, last year with Mississippi State. I mean, we could do this all damn day.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Take any.
If they wake up before.
Okay, so you're going to filibuster. All right, gotcha. Go ahead. You got.
I had to mute you now. Wait, I'll let you talk again. Let me finish. Arizona State, even for that matter, if they're awake before halftime, they beat your asses. It's not even an overtime game. And so they do play with their food a lot. All of this is to say, going back to it, and it's not just about one thing or another. I'm telling you, there's a lot of shit that's got to happen right for Texas to win it all, or even to get back to that part. I'll go back in. I mean, and as far as you haven't played the toughest schedule, and playoff games or any of that other shit doesn't count towards your schedule anyway. As we've got here from Coach I. I'll let you back in, but let me finish what I'm saying. The bottom line is that you asked the question, if not Texas, then who? Well, there's at least a few. I'll tell you, I've already said, to me, the number one team in the country right now, because they have the most coming back, is Notre Dame. They're good everywhere. Their offensive line, their defensive line, their entire defense. They've added receivers in places that you needed to make that addition. And guess what? They got a guy who's now going to be in his second year with the coordinator that can actually throw the ball where Riley Leonard couldn't. That's who, if I'm just picking one, I go there immediately. Go ahead. I'm unmuting you. You have to unmute yourself now. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, if we want to have a back and forth, that's fine. But what I'm not going to participate is that you're just going to take the mic and make about 3 or 4 different points. And then call it a day.
Settle down for a second, and then I gave you it back. But don't forget whose fucking show this is.
See, you're cutting me off again.
You're telling me not to take the mic from you. It's my show, bro. Go ahead.
I know you can, but that doesn't mean I've got to participate. I'm happy to have a back and forth with you.
Then do it.
As a matter of fact, let's play a game. We'll pass the microphone back to each other.
Drew, make your point. You heard what I had to say.
Well, you made about 3 points, so I don't know which one to address.
Address all of them. Address one, whichever one you want to address.
Okay, well, let's address the first one. The first one is, I believe you can go through on practically any team, elite team of any year, and show that they, quote unquote, play with their food at least a few times throughout the season. Every team, it's a human nature thing. You get ahead, you start playing conservatively. That always tends to bite you in the butt. And that is a common thing that in all sports, that the better team, and you always see a comeback when they start doing that. So that's my point number one. Do you have anything to say to that, or can we just move on to the next point? We can agree to disagree.
They do it more. I can name off a bunch of games that Texas does it with. You haven't shown me that you can name off any other team that's done that even one time. You're just throwing out a platitude there that I can name any team in the country that does that. Okay, well, you didn't. So,
well, I mean, okay.
Texas does it a lot and has since Sark got there. That was the point I'm making. Go ahead.
Okay, just for the sake of time, I'll just whatever concede it, agree to disagree. I think you can go through and look at all of the teams throughout here. For the sake of time, we're not going to reiterate that point. Then we said, you said if not Texas, who? You actually made a point before that. That's why we shouldn't make 3 points at one time because I can't remember the second one. But you did talk about Notre Dame. What's that?
If not Texas, who? I'm going with Notre Dame. Let's just go there. Let's go there.
What are the odds of Notre Dame winning right now?
The
Vegas odds.
Vegas odds, I think they were
plus
1,400. Plus 1,400.
1,400. Who's their quarterback? What's the story over there?
It's going to be. It looks like it's almost for sure going to be. What's his name? The grandson of their former coach at Michigan.
Is that a freshman? I forget.
He's a redshirt freshman. He's a redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman. Has he got any like tape out there and any meaningful like snaps?
I don't know that he. I think he got a few snaps here and there. They also have Kenny Minchey there, or not Minchey. Who's the other guy? It's damn it. He's a stud too, but I think he's more of a dual threat, but he can throw it all. The point I was making is I think they upgraded at quarterback either way because they're not only they've got better receivers, they're going to be able to protect them, and the guy can throw. Either one of the guys should be able to throw, and they're in their second year with this in the system. Whereas,
do you think that Texas upgraded in quarterback as well?
Yes, talent. I would say that Texas upgraded in talent at quarterback.
I mean, obviously, everything's to be seen. We haven't seen this guy. We don't know what Arch is actually going to do. I mean, we can say that across the board with a lot of people.
PJ Carr as far as Notre Dame. But yes, if you're asking me on talent, I would say that upside, sure. But what I would also tell you is I can see the Golden Arch making mistakes in certain situations that are going to hurt you.
I can assure you he's going to make mistakes.
Right. Okay.
Because every quarterback makes mistakes, dude. That's the difference. That's the problem with you know what my biggest problem with OU fans are, dude? They throw their quarterbacks, they just throw them right under the bus. And we can go down the line, just throw them right under the bus.
Hey, Coach will tell you that. Coach will tell you that he believes that one. Coach Roybal will tell you that he's that one. And I would tell you.
Okay, cool. I've never heard that, but
OU's ridiculously hard on their quarterbacks, no doubt.
And so are Texas fan. I hate it, but it is what it is. I'm curious what the coach over here thinks as far as does Texas have an upgrade in quarterback?
He walked away from the mic.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to wait.
Okay.
But I mean, from what I'm saying, yes, did they upgrade in talent? Yeah. But there's, again, having Quinn Ewers played, 4 years of ball? This would have been his fourth year. He played 3. He had another year that he sat at Ohio State, but he's seen a lot of football in college. Look, and I would tell you that I think maybe it's not quite as much of a learning curve for Arch because this is year 3 in the system for him.
Okay, now I want to get real, right? Let's be real. What if, hypothetically, in an alternate universe, Auburn, the kicker of Texas hits one of those 2 39-yard field goals, 30-something-yard field goals, and therefore Texas wins the SEC championship their very first year. All he had to do was hit one of the 2, and therefore hypothetical. And therefore Texas wins their very first year. What do you think your opinion of Quinn would be had that happened? Would your opinion be different?
I don't think that I don't have a bad.
This is an intellectually honest litmus test.
I'm telling you that I don't have a bad opinion of Quinn. Even I don't think that. I think that there was times that he didn't show up and at the right time. But this alternate universe stuff doesn't really. I'm telling you that I think that if they really thought that he was a better
Okay. What round?
If Texas
Okay,
really
go ahead.
thought that Arch Manning was a better option for them last year in the playoff, then they should have fucking played him, or in the championship game, then they should have played him.
Had Auburn hit one of those 2 field goals, what round do you think Quinn would have eventually gone in versus going in the 7th round?
You mean Georgia?
Brett Auburn, the
Auburn,
kicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kicker of Texas. Had he hit one of those 2 30-something yard field goals, and Texas therefore wins the national or the SEC championship, what round do you think that Quinn would have gone in?
Quinn had a 2nd round grade anyway.
And so you don't think the perception or any of that would have changed? That everybody would have thought the same way they think about Quinn today.
If we're going to go by that, then I wouldn't go off of that. I'd go off of the damn Ohio State game where they went sideways instead of towards the fucking goal line on the 1.
So you're gonna boil it down to one pitch play that he didn't call. By the way, he put that whole drive together in the most crucial moment. Coming off of 4th and 13 again.
Drew, I'm telling you, I had to mute you again because you're not listening. I don't even have a bad opinion in the guy. I'm telling you, you're talking about the field goal in the SEC championship game that doesn't even matter. I'm saying if I was gonna make that jump, that I would have made it from what they did in the damn Ohio State game, not the Georgia game. Somebody else call in, please, so we can move along from here, bro. I don't mind you having it. You're going way far left though. You're not even making any point. The point is, I said Notre Dame. I can tell you Clemson, like some people have said, because Clemson, and that's an argument towards what you just said, that you don't think Clemson has a shit ton coming back in all the right places.
Yes.
In places that Texas doesn't. And the chances of them making the playoff are 10 times better than Texas making the playoff from the SEC. Period. So Clemson's another one that I would say absolutely would be a favorite before Texas would be. Alabama would absolutely be a favorite before I would have Texas as a favorite. They've got a ton coming back. Their problem, part of it was, I think, the coordinator. The other part was Milroe can't throw the ball in those certain positions that you needed him to. They don't have that problem right now.
Let's go back to Notre Dame for a moment. Notre Dame.
Okay.
Right. Texas has a very, very weak schedule in your eyes, right?
I didn't
really.
I said it's
really weak. Old buddy here called it a cupcake schedule or something.
We're talking about last year's Texas schedule.
Let's talk last year then.
Let's talk this year now. You just brought up Notre Dame. What about Notre Dame? Go ahead.
Well, I want you to tell me what their schedule is compared to Texas last year and this year.
Say that again.
And I want you to compare the schedules of Notre Dame versus Texas, not including playoffs. We'll even throw that out. I mean, we can include them if you want.
No, Texas had an easier schedule. They had as easy a schedule as Texas did.
You think that Texas had an easier schedule than Notre Dame?
They had the same schedule pretty much.
Okay, bro. All right, well, we can let the listeners decide.
The schedule's about the same, bro.
Not even close, bro.
What does that have to do with right now?
Notre Dame would be a 3-loss team with Texas's schedule, bro. At least.
So they'd have lost to what? Georgia, the 2 times that you lost to them, and one more. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, I can throw out about 5 different team names that could easily beat Notre Dame. Last year.
Make your point about Notre Dame, because I've got another caller. So make your point about Notre Dame.
Well, I think if you're gonna criticize Texas's schedule, you need to criticize Notre Dame's schedule, which I've never heard you do.
Listen, I did. Bullshit. Coach was on the damn show. He criticized their fucking schedule. That's not even what we're talking about when we're talking about today, right now. Forget about the schedule from last year. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Why is Texas got a better chance to win the national championship than Notre Dame does right now?
I don't think they do.
You just said if not Texas, who?
I know that was a question, and you told me Notre Dame. But I think the answer is that Notre Dame has a much easier path, which you think it's the same. I don't, and I don't think everybody listening doesn't think that either.
Hey, Drew. I do believe that Georgia got beat by Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame, right? And then Texas lost to Georgia. So the one thing Texas couldn't do, Notre Dame did.
Okay, well, I know context matters. They didn't have their quarterback. Texas missed field goals. I know you guys want to be like, well, win's a win, and ifs and buts, blah, blah, blah. But
no, that's what
context
you're
matters.
You're the one that's saying it's ifs and buts. You're the one that giving the hypotheticals.
I don't say that. I don't say that.
All the hypotheticals. You was, well, what if so-and-so would have made this, or what if so-and-so would have done that? You did that the whole time you've been on here.
Yeah, I made a certain hypothetical, but I'm not the one promoting ifs and buts or buts. I'm the one who's actually saying context matters. Georgia lost their starting quarterback.
Fucking lines and thinking you're going to get away with that one. I think not. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. I think's not. All right, we got our next guest coming in to replace him, Mike the Legend.
God,
welcome into the show, Mike. What's up, man?
I need a drink now.
Mike, you got it?
What's up, Jason? What's up, Coach?
I got you, man. You're in here now. Bro,
I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Fucking line. Yeah, we got you. You
God dang.
Line about context matters and shit, and then think and act like it's yours. Come on, bro.
Man, that was the worst. That was the worst 15 minutes of my life, man. Sitting there listening to that.
Right. Okay. Anyway, hey man, no, I appreciate Drew calling in. I do. Let's be fair. I appreciate him calling in. Legend fell off. All right.
I love the passion. I love the passion though, man. But it's just that you can't.
You have to expect this. You have to expect this when we get a Texas call.
But you can't come in here and make the narrative work for you every single time on every debate, on everything. You just can't do that. We can sit here and agree or disagree. But to make up things to make it make sense for you and your team is something, man, that I just don't understand. I mean, I was trying to listen, but it was a lot of ifs, comparisons to other teams. One thing that we do know is that Oklahoma did struggle last year. We're not running from that. They were hurt last year. We're not running from that.
Jack, do you know what the difference is in that game and the other one? One beat Georgia, the other one didn't. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? You can say what you want about Notre Dame. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for saying that they're the number one team in the country. I get it. I'm just telling you, their offensive line, probably the best in the country. Their defensive line, arguably the best in the country. They're going to have a quarterback that can throw it. They already had running backs that can run all over your ass, and they're coming back. They didn't need Riley to run the football for them to be winners. They didn't. What they needed him to do was complete a fucking pass on third down. They have that now. That's why if I'm saying that Notre Dame is a favorite in my mind, that would be why. They're not the only favorite. I'm saying they're among the favorites. Clemson, same thing. We've seen a lot out of Klubnik last year that we hadn't seen yet. They have an offensive line coach that is really good finally. And they have receivers that are comparable to the ones that when they were winning national championships, they had. There's another one. We're talking about Notre Dame's schedule. He asked about the schedule. They start off with Miami and A&M. They play Arkansas. I don't know how great Arkansas is, but you're going to play them too. Purdue, yeah. Boise State. Okay. That's if you're going to play, a decent team out of the group of 5, I would say Boise's one of them. They got SC as always.
North Carolina State.
Syracuse, North Carolina State. I don't know that I think much of them this year, but Boston College is always good against them, and they've got at least a coach that's going to have a good game plan. Is their schedule much better than yours? No, but it's. I think it's at least as hard. At least as hard this year.
Did you mention A&M?
Yeah, A&M and Miami are their first 2 games. Miami and then A&M. Do they beat Georgia with that starter all year? What does that mean? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Do they beat Georgia with that starter all year? If he started all year, I don't know. If was a 5th, we'd all be drunk. What is your point? Make a point. Make the whole point. Don't just ask silly questions that get you off track. I love Kate Klubnik. What do y'all think Clemson looks like this season? I think that they're better than they were last season. And I didn't think that they were a playoff team, by the way, last season. Until they won the damn ACC, which that's an ACC problem.
Offense is going to be a little bit better. Year 2 under TBO's younger brother.
Well, actually, year 3.
Oh, is it? Well, the first year don't count because the Dabo would not let his ass call any damn thing.
I know. But again, I think that they get better.
Yeah.
I don't know if they beat him with Beck. They didn't have to. That he was talking about. They played against that same quarterback as Texas did. Only the difference was that they didn't beat him either. They didn't beat him, and Notre Dame did. So, is what it is. Shawty, call in. Call in. You said you wanted to. Coach I, call in.
Yeah, I thought Charlie was going to call in and talk his ish.
Yeah, he said he was going to call in and talk his ish. What was the question about Oklahoma, though? I mean, what we were talking, if we're going to go Oklahoma versus Texas here, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. Somebody call in. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's ask some more questions. Okay, we're going back to, let's go back to best bets, worst bets. Coach Ricks, what would be your best bet coming into the season that you think is stealing money, aside from the Oklahoma over?
I would probably lean with no, I can't say that. I really don't know, man, because
come on,
the bets and everything, man. I don't know what are the options. What are the choices that we have to try to put something on the bet? Because if we're not going to go with Oklahoma and we're not going to go with Texas and we're not going to go with Notre Dame, since we've already mentioned those, the bet that Clemson wins the ACC?
Mm-hmm.
They won it last year with a depleted defense.
I don't know. What is that? You can make whatever bet you want to make. I'm saying, what's your favorite bet?
I would say the favorite bet and everything would be Clemson makes the CFP.
Okay. Man, I'm having some issues real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna stick with it. Clemson wins the ACC.
Clemson wins the ACC. I would think that BYU or or Iowa State wins the Big 12. I would say probably Ohio State. I'm still not believing in Nebraska yet in the Big 10. I'm still not believing in them yet. So I would probably say Ohio State wins the Big 10 again. Those are my 3 bets that I would make.
All right, say them again. Say them again.
I would say that Clemson makes the CFP. I would say that BYU or Iowa State would win the Big 12.
Oh, not Arizona State. Okay.
Man, look, I just think, man, look,
Can you
BYU, another year in the Big 12, man, with scouting and what they can do. I think BYU is going to be dangerous next year. And then, we saw what Iowa State did last year. So I think that they're going to be a little bit better in the Big 12. And of course, Ohio State will win the Big 10.
Okay.
I just don't believe in Oregon right now. Quarterback and everything is not, it's not DG.
Fair enough. And even with Ohio State having new coordinators, new quarterback,
that depth around them, man, that talent around them is just crazy.
Okay. Cool.
You got a cheat code at wide receiver.
No worries. Is Oklahoma more optimistic about Mateer coming in than when Arnold came in, or Arnold was going to give y'all more help? No. Yeah, we're more optimistic in Mateer
because Mateer has proven it.
At this point, right? Yeah, Mateer has 44 touchdowns and 4,000 total yards. No matter what conference it was in, he has that behind him. It was all hope with Jackson in it, and by this time of last year, a lot of us had less hope because of the fact that we had already heard about what was going on in the spring practices and shit like that. So we're as opposed to Mateer going in there and not saying that he was going in and killing the defense all the time. He said it was that everybody was talking about, and he even said they're winning some, we're winning some, and this is tough to go up against this defense, but it's making us all better. The wins that they had is what would make me more optimistic about that. Coach, I said Clemson making the CFP's low-hanging fruit, Coach.
Who's going to challenge him in the ACC?
That's what he's saying, I think, yeah.
Who's going to challenge him?
Yeah. The other thing, like Ganja says, it's year 3 of this system for Mateer. This is his 3rd year in that system. He's had success in it. He's got more weapons in it than he ever did. I think it sounds pretty good.
Also, he hasn't had the defense that he has now. Right. Their defense was terrible last year.
Oh, they were god-awful. Yeah.
So now to have that to back you up is crazy. Shorty.
What's up, big dog? Can you hear me? Shouty?
He just got in from the club.
Yeah, he's coming from he ain't ready to talk yet. He might be. What's up there, Shouty? You got us? Shouty.
I hear him.
I can hear you. Hey, man. You all right there? Shouty.
Hey, don't be doing a Shannon Sharp video now.
Right?
We're hitting the wrong button.
Sounds like that. We're kicking his ass right off. All right, Fanatic. Appreciate you, Coach I. Have a good one. The handle the truth, bro. You were throwing out a bunch of different. You didn't even make a point. You didn't even finish the point one time. Shawty, you hear us? Can you hear me? We can hear you, so you ain't hearing us.
Let me type it in there for him.
Type that in there, yeah. We did lose a whole lot of people here at the Ohio State. You did. But here's the thing. The guys that you have, so your coordinators, right? My question would more be about the offensive coordinator, even though he's bringing in dudes year after year after year, right? Shawty, can you hear us, man? He's bringing in guys year after year after year. But what is he like as a play caller? I don't know, right? I'm not sure what that means. But that being said, you also have Ryan Day to back him up and be like, no, that's not where we're headed. We don't want to do that.
All right, you're pulling the Shannon Sharp now. I'm telling you.
Hey.
You're going to start hearing grunting in a few minutes.
I muted him just now, but I mean.
You're going to start, you start hearing that.
I don't do that
shit. It's about that time at night.
Shawty, go out and come back in. We can hear you. You're not hearing us, though. But yeah, you aren't hearing us.
Dude, that's funny as hell, man. That Shannon Sharp thing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's funny shit. Dude, he's in all kinds of shit, man. He's in all kinds of shit now with that.
When you start making that money, man, that shit happens.
Well, but yes, but you can't be putting yourself in a position like he put himself in with this OnlyFans broad.
Yeah, man. We was talking about that. Yeah. I want to get back to something, man, about Drew, and then I'm gonna get off of it. I love passionate fans. I love it to death, but you can't be one-sided when it comes to your team.
I think he thought he had some arguments, and then he didn't finish off any of the arguments.
Well, the argument and everything, man, he kept going back on himself and everything, man. So, I mean, I love when a person call in and we can debate, but when it becomes one-sided or you start making hypotheticals or you start to try to make it work in your favor, it just don't make sense. Now, on the John Mateer thing, there's footage on John Mateer to where we've seen what he can do. Jackson Arnold, man, we were just going on hype on what we thought he was going to do.
Right.
I've never been so disappointed, man, in my life, man. I've never seen a quarterback take that big of a dive in a season and fall off that quick.
Well, we've had two guys that are on this show all the time that have seen him in person against that nasty ass defense. The 1-versus-1 guys that have said the defense got a little of theirs, but he got his too. Nah, man, I'm telling you, come back in. We could hear you, Shotty. You just weren't hearing us. We could hear you, so I kicked you on that one. Go ahead. Finish that on Drew.
Oh, no, he was just saying, LOL, I'm one-sided. Yes, man, you were trying to make it, you were comparing everything that we were saying about Texas, and you were comparing it to somebody else.
Too. We were trying to answer all your questions, and you never finished your point on any of those things.
Kept jumping around. So, I mean, it just makes it, and even people in the comments was like, it's the same schedule as Notre Dame, or it's the same. But you don't want to see that because you think that we're downing Texas, and we're really not. We're just trying to keep an honest assessment. They lost so much, just like any other team, but the other team is not considered to be Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So we can compare teams to Texas, but Texas is, as you want to call it, Texas is up here. So here's the ceiling. Texas is up here. You can't compare Texas to someone like Arizona State or some low-level team. It has to be somebody up there with Texas. They did have a real bad schedule last year, but they played who they were supposed to play. You play hard teams when you get to the playoffs, which they did. They played Clemson. Everybody kept saying Clemson wasn't supposed to be there, but you play who you're supposed to play.
They won.
Thank you. Yes. So you play who you're supposed to play. Then you play Arizona State. You play who you're supposed to play, even though that automatic bid shit worked in your favor. So we're not saying anything bad, Drew. I was just saying that it was just the way you were saying it. The way that you said it, you try to make every point work for Texas, and it doesn't supposed to work that way. That's all we were saying. I wasn't saying anything real bad about you guys, to be honest.
And I've said it a few times on this show already that I'm not saying Texas sucks. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're not the same. They're not as good coming into this season as they were going into either of the last two. There's no way you can say that they are and be real about it. That they're better now coming into the year than they were coming into either of the last 2 years. And in both of the last 2 years, they didn't get it done. So why in the fuck would I make them my favorite? I won't. That's why. That's bottom line with me. I'm not saying that they're not still going to be good. I think they are going to be good. I think that next year they're probably going to be, that's when I would make them a real contender. I see them going 8-4, 9-3 this year. Or even if they hit 10 wins, I still think whatever it is, they're going to be really having a better chance of winning it in 2026. What's up there, Jaron? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Nathan, I disagree with that. He says, Coach, they would not have got past Arizona State if it was for the refs. Texas should have blew fucking Arizona State out of the damn water the first half. They let Arizona State hang around, and then it got tight. So they had that damn game won. They They didn't do shit.
Shawty, hit the fucking link again. Quit talking shit. I'm telling you, we
Trying
can
to silence you.
We could hear you. You weren't hearing us. That's why I kicked you. Come back in. Click the link again.
Okay. Oh, Drew, on Ott, everybody's going by last year's footage, and he didn't really play well because he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
But Ott is going to be a dangerous weapon for Oklahoma next year.
Yeah, his 2023. Yeah, he got hurt last year, and the film he had before the injury was really good. He played very well against Miami. I think 2 of his 3 touchdowns were against Miami in that game that they played there at Cal. But yeah, ASU game was in hand till the final 6 minutes. Well, it should have been way out of hand though by then for Arizona State to even make it back. Is the point I'm trying to make, man.
There goes Shorty.
Yep, Shorty, we got you, man. You got us.
Yeah. So the problem was I had my YouTube. Had my YouTube and my internet playing at the same time, and that was the issue. I had to cut my YouTube off. I'm on my phone.
You need to put some more quarters in it. Is that what we're talking about?
No, I'm just on my phone. I was just trying. It couldn't run both mics at the same time.
I feel you.
Thought you were trying to pull a Shannon Sharp on us, man.
Well, y'all saw me in the comments to my free shouter. They trying to mute my silence.
All right. So what you got? What you got for us? Give us another subject. Come on.
Oh man, just let me know where y'all left off of, and I can kind of piggyback and kind of go from there because I was kind of in the backstage for a minute, so I kind of didn't hear what y'all been talking about for the last few minutes.
Well, we were still going kind of back and forth with what Drew was talking about on why we're not picking Texas as a favorite. Because where we were talking about with him is, again, I'm not saying they're not going to be good. I'm telling you that I don't favor them to win the national championship. I would favor Notre Dame over that. I would favor Clemson over them. I would certainly favor Alabama. LSU over them. I'd favor Oklahoma over them.
So now we talking about this all in perspective of a playoff system, right?
Sure. Yep.
All right. Because it's not just, it's definitely a lot more difficult to win. Seeding and things like that, definitely matchups, make fights. So, it's tough to say, man. It's so much shaking up going on, what's coming on this year. But I would say, honestly, there's probably about 6 to 7 teams that can win it for sure.
Is more than out normal, of those teams, right? Is Texas one of them for you?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's not and what I say that's why I say I'm a lot of that has to do with schedule. And I don't know what Drew was talking about. I don't know what Drew was drinking when he was talking about the schedule. Now, granted, he made a few valid points, but in totality, Texas did not have a tough schedule compared to some of the other teams in the SEC. A la Oklahoma, a la Florida, a la Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure though. But Texas, if I had to gamble, I mean, if I was a betting man, I don't know what the odds are. If I had to pick 7 teams, Texas would be one for sure. Because one of the things that I would say that is because you don't have to win the SEC. If a team like that can get in the playoffs, I think they can beat anybody on any given Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's fair to say. No matter what, for any team not in the SEC, right? Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument for any of the quote contenders that aren't in the SEC because would they be the same contender if they were? Maybe not. I don't know.
But they don't have to be. That's the whole point.
They don't.
That's why Buddy talking about that alternate universe shit. Like, I mean, come on, bro. They don't have to be all. What are you talking about? Yeah, they don't have to be. They play who they play, and they get in because they get in who they play.
That's it.
Right. No, I agree with that. And the bottom line is that, yeah, so it's not the same thing. We're talking about the schedule that they played last year as it is what it is, but it doesn't matter versus the one that they played this year or even last year, because again, it doesn't even make a shit. It doesn't matter at all whatsoever, because they can lose that game to Texas or if they were playing Texas instead of A&M, they could lose any of these games and still make it in. Or, you know what I mean? You're going to have different games that you can't lose. Now, I would tell you that when they lost that game to Northern Illinois, you had a lot of people that just kept going back to that. It's week 2, and they kept going back to that like it was the same shit.
Yeah.
Same team playing. It wasn't, you know? But if you want to talk about what was the difference, what's the reason that I think that Notre Dame is better with this quarterback no matter who it is, it's because of that. They lost that Northern Illinois game because they couldn't complete a fucking pass when they needed to, period.
So let me ask you guys as a panel, let me ask you this question. And it may, I don't know how much, you had a chance to maybe research just off the top of your head. And Jason, you may have already answered the question. My question to the panel is this. So what team you think that has a chance to win a championship made the biggest leap from last year to this year?
The biggest leap.
Biggest leap. Okay. To win it all, biggest team to make a leap. It has to be Florida.
Now this Jason show, you got to tell them why. Now you just can't say no. You got to give us some.
Because
you got to let us know.
Okay. Tough schedule last year. DJ and everything's gonna be playing better. Defense is gonna be a lot better, and they were one of the hottest teams in the last 5 games last year. That's why I would say Florida. Now it all depends on if DJ is going to be consistent and if he's not going to turn the ball over and just play straight up. I think that it would be Florida and I'm not going to say LSU because they were already there last year. So I would have to say Florida is mine. Florida's mine.
Okay.
I don't know about Jason's.
But you think they have a chance to win it all?
Well, you said the biggest. We said the biggest jump, and then so the biggest jump is what I said. What I thought, and everything to win it all. They got one of the hardest schedules in the country.
Oh, hold on. Let me say the question again. What I'm saying is, out of the teams who you think can win the national championship, which one of those teams you think has made the biggest leap?
Okay.
I apologize. My bad.
Let me answer it while you think about it. Let me answer it on mine because I don't know that I believe Florida wins the Natty.
Okay.
I think Florida can make some noise to make the playoff. I don't know. I don't know that I believe that they win the Natty. Who I believe that can win the Natty, I'd have to agree with Satterfield. It's LSU. I think that they added enough in both portals. They got very busy in the winter portal on both sides of the ball. I think that their defensive coach, they're in good shape with their defensive coordinator. And yeah, I think receiver-wise, shit. Going and adding that kid from Kentucky, plus Nick Anderson, and then you know that they bring wide receivers out of the fucking swamp that light it up. They don't matter how many stars they got, none of that shit. I think LSU with Nussmeier probably being the best returning SEC quarterback for sure. I'd probably say LSU.
Okay. I got one. I got it now.
I like that too. That's pretty good. I can see that.
Alabama.
That too.
If they get a quarterback that can throw the ball,
did you just say Miami?
Who said Miami?
Who did you just say?
Alabama.
Oh, Bama. Okay, yeah. I was fixing to throw a board at you.
Man, Miami. What the fuck? Alabama. I mean, they're gonna have to make a leap, man, because they didn't have no passing attack, and they got the weapons to spread the ball out if they could just find them a good quarterback. So,
okay, all right. What do you say to those two things, Shorty?
I mean, as much as I hate it, I think that LSU was very kind of eye-opening because I think the quarterback is very, very enticing, right? It's just if Kelly can get those guys on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know what's going on that side of the ball. If they can ever get that together, because Nussmeier is a 4,000-yard kind of quarterback. He's done it. And that's very interesting. Like, I just didn't think
Shorty,
about.
every time that somebody says LSU, what's the first thing they say is going to be their biggest problem? The coach. We always keep hearing Brian Kelly. If Brian Kelly can do this, if Brian Kelly can do that,
Well,
he
that would be my
always
reason for not LSU winning.
he always does something to choke it or does something to mess it up.
Well, so Kelly's in his way. This is going into his 4th year, right?
I think so.
Something like that.
So.
I think he's going into his 4th year, and he has the quarterback. I mean, if you don't do it this year, I think this is very pivotal year for Kelly. Like, I mean, no more like 8-3, and you know, he got to get in the playoff this year. I think, or his seat gonna be hot.
Boiling.
He's gonna be simmering.
Right. So if he don't do it this year, then when does he do it? Because after this year, you almost hitting a reset. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he's in deep shit. I think he's in deep shit if he doesn't at least make the playoff and probably like maybe semifinal.
But I mean, just to answer the question though, I just think LSU is a good team. I wouldn't have thought LSU, but it makes so much sense because I do like their hair coming back. I rated the quarterback. I had him coming back as number 1. I think I had their wide receiving core maybe in the top 2. I think I had them. No, I had them 1. So they got the top quarterback, top receiving core. We're gonna do some tight ends and receivers next week. But offensively, they loaded, bro. Just about what they're gonna do on defense. So I think LSU is a good call. I think Notre Dame is a good call. To be honest, you know, all jokes aside, just being fair, I think that's a good call.
The reason why I didn't pick them, Shorty, because they make the biggest leap. That's why I didn't pick them. Yeah, Notre Dame.
I don't know how much of a leap it is. I think it's kind of a leap, though. They were what they went.
They getting better. Yeah, it's a leap. They getting better offensively.
Well, yeah, I mean, they lost. I mean, listen, they got the shit beat out of them by Alabama at home. And I mean, you just lose. You got the fuck beat out of you there. And then losing to Florida, losing to they should have lost the game to South Carolina. They ended up winning that one. But that losing to Florida, that one's not good either, even though it was at the Swamp. The rivalry game, I get it. But I think that Florida would be a huge leap because I think they won a couple games they probably shouldn't have. But I also think that their defense is ridiculous, and I think that their offense is going to be a lot better. Let me tell you why I like Bama. I think it is a leap for them because they had an athlete playing quarterback, and sometimes that works out for you. But Vanderbilt showed a blueprint of how to beat them. Oklahoma found it. Tennessee found it too. They did the same thing.
Can we be honest? Ty Simpson ain't putting the fear ain't nobody. I mean, I know y'all Alabama, pseudo fans and thing, but come on, let's just be for real now. Everybody don't seen the film. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying he's not putting the fear. He's not putting the fear in anybody.
We don't know what he is, to be honest. You're right. You're right on that. I'm not saying that I would necessarily fear him. Here's what you fear, though, is that
weapons around him.
If you have Ryan Grubb, it'd be the other part of that. Ryan Grubb being their coordinator, because I think having a first-year guy in Nick Sheridan that has never called plays before, ever, at any level, not much less than the SEC, he's calling plays for a quarterback who's not complete because he can't complete that 10 to 25-yard throw that is the most important play to be able to complete whenever you're, playing against a team that at least matches up with you talent-wise.
You know what, Coach? I'm not calling you Coach Jason. You know what? He also that guy can't get away from that defensive lineman, that 310-pound that just beat your center over the 3 technique like it was nothing.
Yeah, but they have a good offensive line. I'm not too worried about that.
I get it. They get good offensive line get beat too. They ain't blocking all day every day in the SEC. I'm just saying, Jalen Milroe, when that happens, that's the thing that he has. And what I'm saying is,
are they going to be able to just send a jailhouse blitz all the time against this guy whenever he can hit quick routes? They're able to call certain plays to a number in that 10 to 25 yard range that gets out fast.
No.
I mean,
I'm not saying you're gonna do a jailhouse blitz every down. I'm just saying all I'm saying is that's an element of the game that as a defensive coordinator, I don't necessarily have to game plan for that. I can concentrate on more defensive schemes. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm getting at. So that helps me as a defensive coordinator. That one less thing I have to worry about.
Okay. Bama could have the biggest flop of all time. What makes you think that? See, all right. So so if we're talking Bama now, all right. I'm gonna tell you, I think they're a very good bet for certainly to hit their over, to get the playoff, maybe even to play for the national championship. I think they're a good bet because first you get value with them as far as betting. I think they're fifth best odds to win the Natty. But let's say what you're saying is right, and Ty Simpson ain't worth the shit.
Whoa! No, I didn't. I didn't. Whoa, I didn't say he wasn't worth.
You said ain't nobody scared of him, so
I say ain't nobody. I say he ain't. I say he won. He ain't saying he. First thing I say, I ain't saying he ain't bad. I'm just saying nobody scared of. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you ain't scared of him, you should be scared to death of Keelan Russell, though.
Okay, FanDuel got him at 9.5. Do you got them win over under 9.5?
Who's that?
They're winning 11 games.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
I think they're winning 11 games.
Okay.
So,
what about you, Coach?
I say I got them 9 or 10.
Damn, Coach, you got to get off. You got to sit it off the pot, Coach. The bet 9.5.
All right, I'll take 10.
Okay, so you like the over? Okay,
like
you
over.
just called them as a best bet to win it, other than Texas. So,
well, we saying the greatest leap. The greatest leap. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's the greatest leap and everything. So that could be 1 game, 2 games better than what you did last year, or a team that was not inconsistent last year and now they're going to be better this year. So I was trying to look at the whole overall, who was kind of struggling last year and now who might be better this year. So that's why I said Alabama.
I could be wrong on Bama's here. Here's where I would tell you about Bama, and I'm higher on Kalen DeBoer than I think a lot of people are. But Kalen DeBoer, everywhere he's been in year 2, they've been nasty, right? I don't know that I trust Ty Simpson to be that guy. I also think that there's a chance that you can't keep Keelan off the field forever. Even if they're winning, I think that there's a chance that he comes in because they're just seeing that he's better and better and better all the time. And I think they're going to find places for him to play because if you don't, chances are you're losing, right? You got to find places for him to have opportunities to where he's your starter the next year without a doubt. Now, I think that they're hoping, just like what Oklahoma fans are hoping, that you don't have to go to Michael Hawkins this year, that you can redshirt him. But I think that they also believe, and don't get it twisted that they said, what did they say? If we had games today, Ty Simpson would be the starter. Well, we don't have games today. It's 3 months away.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't mean that he's the guaranteed starter. I don't care about, we're about to start seeing DeBoer's recruits playing. They're still recruiting very, very well. But why would you say that when they still have a shit ton of recruits that played for Saban, was on that roster? I'm telling you, they still have the number 1 talent roster in the country.
Listen, but is there any situation anywhere we live in where they may be in trouble, Alabama? They may not be near as good as we think. Like there could be some issues going on.
I think their defense looked really good at the end of the year. Here's why I like them. Their defense looked really, really good by the end of the year. They were the strongest point of that team. They've got you said yourself on the show with Coach I the other night that it was either you or Coach I that had them at number 1 best receiving room in I think the other one had them at 2.
I had them at 2. I had them at 1.
You had them at 1?
I had them at 2, Coach. I had them at 1.
Coach I had them at 1. Okay. So one of the best receiving rooms in the SEC with Ryan Williams. I mean, look, they're really good there. They have one of the best offensive lines, and they definitely have one of the best defensive lines. Now, tell me how that doesn't work out unless they're just trash at coaching, which I don't believe that's the case when they were able to turn around Washington in year 2 and lose in the national championship game. The only loss they had all year. If they've got a guy that can throw it at all, which they do, either one of these, if they play Keelan or they play Ty Simpson, the guy can throw it better than they'll be able to throw it with more accuracy than what we saw from Jalen DeBoer last year. I'm basing it off of that. Does that mean that I think that DeBoer is the perfect coach for Alabama? Not necessarily. I think that what they're doing, though, we're going to find out a lot. If they're either going to be contending for the national championship this year, or he's on his ass with his way out of the damn door by mid-year the year after.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm an Alabama hater, but don't get me wrong. At the same time, I think the boy is a great coach. But you just said it. I don't know if he's the right fit. In my opinion, he one of the coaches that did less with more. When you talking about the talent on the roster.
Well,
Okay.
but that's
Well,
easy to say
it's
that.
first year. It's his first year. I get that. I'm just saying. But that don't change the talent on the roster.
It doesn't change the talent on the roster. But if the talent on the roster is not used to the voice that's coming across the headset or coaching them up, that it's not just a coaching issue. That's the issue of you've got to get everybody on the same page. Now, do I believe that he can do that after 1 year? He's shown in year 2, no matter where he's been, year 2 has been huge. It was huge for him at Fresno.
But Jason, it ain't just him. That's almost most coaches. We say that all the time. I've been saying that I always say that.
Well, then why
it ain't just him.
What's the problem then? What's the problem with us saying that you could see them making a big leap, which is not making the playoffs to being a contender for the Natty?
I'm not saying that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing to the point that you're making, but I initially said, just like I said about Kelly, it's about the fit. I'm talking about the fit. So whether it be year 2, 3, or 4, I still don't think he might be the right fit. I don't think he may not be able to maximize what Alabama had just because of the type of coach that he just might not be the right fit. He's still a damn good coach, one of the best, just like Kelly is.
That's why. Well, I think that Kelly used to be one of the best coaches, but I think that Kelly has. I don't know, man. You're starting to see a lot more that maybe it wasn't that they just didn't have enough or couldn't get the talent that they should have been able to get at Notre Dame. Because if Marcus Freeman can go out there and get the guys good enough too, because they were right in the game for the national championship at the end. They had a chance, and they didn't even play their best game at Notre Dame.
But Kelly was a better fit at Notre Dame. I'm talking about the fit. That's what I'm saying.
Notre Dame than he is at LSU, no doubt about that.
Exactly, for sure.
No doubt about that.
He played for a Natty.
I think the DeBoer has been very, very. The guy's lost 15 games in his career as a head coach, and he's got over 100 wins.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I think he's a great coach.
It's a cultural thing. You're asking a West Coast spread the ball out coach coming to the SEC in Alabama that's known for ground and pound, play action, things like that. So now the talent isn't where it needs to be to run his offense. You got a senior quarterback that is no longer there now. So you're going to struggle trying to get that guy to run your offense when he don't have the mechanics to do that. Now you bring in, and let's just say you play Austin Mack, which is the former quarterback for Washington. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you put him in there, who we know that can spread the ball around. Now you got him with all these damn weapons that Alabama has. That's why I say it's different. We really don't know. But I don't think it's a cultural thing just because Nick Saban's gone. Nick Saban got the guys that he wanted because of the offense and the schemes and things that he wanted to run. Now DeBoer is going to have to do that. But DeBoer was trying to run his offense with the players that Nick Saban had. You can't do that. It's not going to be consistent. It's not going to work. I think now with him bringing his guys in, and even if it's not a full roster, you're bringing guys in that can at least move the ball and put you in a position to win the ball game, because Milroe could not throw the ball last year to save his life. that lucky pass he hit in Auburn with the last second to win the ball game.
That's exactly what he was
That's
the whole
the
time there too.
best play he's ever done.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would tell you that what Jalen Milroe was and I said this before the Alabama game last year, the only chance Oklahoma had was to take away the run from him early on. If they didn't, he would kill them with his arm. If not, he can't beat them with his arm. If they could stop him from running early and don't let him get going with his feet, then he won't hurt him with his arm. But if you have to worry about if he's already gashing you and you can't focus on, and they were able to keep a light box in doing this, by the way. They were able to shut him down running the football with the light box. So in doing that, able to drop more guys into coverage, able to bring weird blitz from different places, get in his head. Once he got hit on the very first fucking play, hard, Stutzman put him on his ass. He did not want the ball anymore. And you could see that. And once that happened and they became one-dimensional, the only thing he could really do was throw up a prayer to Ryan Williams. It was over. Now that's not the case now. Nobody expects. Now, Keelan might be able to beat you with his legs. I don't think that Ty Simpson's going to do that. But both of those guys are able to throw passes. If you watch Keelan Russell, he can throw. He makes every throw with accuracy. I'm not even hating on Jalen Milroe. I like him as an athlete. I don't love him as a quarterback. I say the same thing about him as I say about other Lamar, like Lamar. Lamar can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn from 12 to 25 yards.
I don't agree with
that.
I don't agree with that. I'm not gonna get him. That's not. I don't agree with that, folks. You talking about that?
Show me where I'm wrong, because I ain't told you a lie here. The dude doesn't hit those passes that have to be super accurate, like that 15-yard out. You don't see Lamar throwing the 15-yard out.
Jason, I don't look like it normally supposed to look. It look different. It don't add up how it supposed to add up before. Come on now.
I said throw that ball, the important one, from 12 to 25 yards. He's not good at that. What's wrong about that?
Okay. I just disagree with you.
Why? Why do you disagree with me? Tell me why. Tell me why. Come on.
Because I think he make those throws.
You're gonna have to show me. You're gonna have to show me that.
I tell you what, if I tell you as many as he missed, I can show you he hit them. How about we do that?
What about in the playoffs when it fucking matters?
I mean, you can move the goalpost every time you want to.
That's what I'm talking about, is winning championships.
You can move the goalpost.
How is he going to win a championship?
You don't win from making certain throws and then win the championship.
I'm saying that he can't make that throw consistently enough for them to win a Super Bowl.
Okay. Fair enough, because he ain't won one, so you can't argue that. But a lot of folks ain't winning Super Bowl, but I get it. Once again, I can't move the goalpost. But I disagree with that.
I'm not moving him. I'm saying that he doesn't make that
you went to make
Milroe. I look at Milroe very similarly that I look at Lamar. I think Lamar I think he's the best athlete in the NFL. I mean, dude, shit.
Oh, he was league in passing. What do you say? He can throw too. What are you saying?
He can throw deep balls. He's just like, bro. We don't have this argument. He can make the deep throw.
Passing,
bro. Anybody can throw it to that 35-yard, that 30 yards out there, and have a guy run under it. Does he make the 15-yard out throw?
Jason, the man threw for like 40 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions. Who better? What would you want to do?
Passes were all under 10 or over 25.
Okay, all right, all right.
Now, Shorty, I'm a Baltimore fan. I'm a Baltimore fan.
Over 25 or under 10. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of those passes were crossing routes 5, 10, 15 yards or in. And because I love Lamar, and we watch it all the time.
What's wrong with throwing 15-yard passes?
Bro,
I'm just saying it's 15 yards and in.
Point that I was
in.
I'm not even saying that I think Lamar sucks. I'm telling you that he doesn't hit the one that they will take away those passes that you hit all the time that are easier to hit in the playoffs. They will take them away and make you hit them with precision routes. And by precision routes, you got to throw it on the point. If it's 6 inches one way or the other, it's a touchdown the other way. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of Champ Bailey type dudes that are playing on defense out there that if you miss by a little bit, then it's going the other way. And we know he misses.
Shorty, can I ask you a question?
Man, I ain't finna let y'all talk about my quarterback, man.
No. I was gonna ask you a question. And this is just straight up. Okay. Last drive of the game to win the ball game. Lamar or Patrick? Who you got?
It doesn't matter what you
Between me, just between me and you. If the last drive.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that fairly, Coach?
Yeah.
It's great. Now listen what you asked me. As great as Lamar is, we know he is. Mm-hmm. You just asked me. You just put this man up against a first ballot Hall.
Okay, I'll take away.
8 years in his career, he already a first ballot.
I'll take away Patrick Mahomes. I'll give you another one. Okay, is that better? Drew Allen or
who?
I mean, damn, what's his name? The quarterback for the Bills. I'm sorry.
It ain't Drew Allen, folks.
My bad. I got Drew Allen in my head for some damn reason and everything, and I got his name in my head, but I just threw out the wrong name. My bad. Josh Allen. Josh Allen. Yeah. My bad. Josh Allen. I saw Drew up here. I was reading his comment and it said Drew Allen.
Dumb shit again.
All right, Josh Allen or Lamar.
And what situation?
Last drive of the ball game.
Shit, I mean, ain't neither one-on-one then, Coach. So I'm gonna go with Lamar.
Okay.
He the two-time MVP.
The reason why I say that, because Josh does the same thing that Lamar does. He runs the ball and he takes what the defense gives him.
But Coach,
so that's what makes Lamar so dangerous.
Coach, Josh ain't done what Lamar done did though. He two-time MVP. And he don't did. I mean, he ain't done what Lamar done did. I get what you saying, but
how many times has Lamar beat him in the AFC playoffs? When they play, Josh always gets him.
Well, first of all, it's 22-on-22.
I get it, but the quarterback is going to always be the person that's get blamed when they lose.
I got you.
Can we agree with that? The quarterback always gets blamed
for sure.
Because like I said, I'm a Lamar. My daughter and everybody in my family, we are Lamar fans. So I'm being honest with you and everything.
I'm not a Lamar fan. I'm just telling you he doesn't hit those balls that you have to hit to win. And that we're getting completely off the fucking topic here, by the way. Because we're talking about Milroe and why he couldn't win those other games. Huh?
I say that's what I do. I take it off the rails. I take the show off the
rails. Hey, you crazy.
Neilio asked, big booty or boobs? I'll take the titties. But I like big booty too.
I don't know about that one. Let's keep it PG.
I ain't keeping it PG. This is my fucking show. I'm taking the titties.
Okay. You limited then.
That's a single talking, Coach.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
He's limiting himself.
I know you can't. You can keep it PG, but don't tell me to.
Streets.
How do you what, huh?
I said, I love me some big booty.
Yeah. Legend said it too.
Trick question. Drew said trick question.
There's nothing bad about either, right? I mean, you can't go wrong with either. But if we have to choose between them, you only get one or the other.
Come on, Jason. Come on, man. Come on to the bright side. Come over to the bright side. You know you take the booty. Come on now.
I mean, I'll take either or. But if we're choosing between the two, I'll take. Hey, man. You're looking up more than
Hey, Shorty. Tell him, Shorty. Which one should he choose, Shorty?
A gentleman never tells.
There you go. I knew he was going to say something.
They for the street.
That disqualifies you anyway, bro. So speak up.
Shorty ain't gonna say nothing. He got to keep those in check.
Lamar.
Oh no.
Lamar. Oh, see, here we go. This is the point. Thank you, man. My boy Darren always has the right thing to say.
You don't waited and picked the one comment out there don't agree with you.
No, it's not the one. It's not the one. But if we're going there, yeah. Who are you picking on the last drive?
Nah, I'm just playing devil's advocate. We know Lamar don't have the strongest of arms and all that kind of stuff. But
I love Lamar. I love the guy as a freaking player. And for any game in the regular season, I'll take him because he's gonna go out there and ball out. The dude's fast as shit. If he was a receiver, I think he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Now, if I play a wide receiver, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't want to play with him. I was just playing devil's advocate. I was just being an asshole. But if I play a receiver, I wouldn't want to play with him.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I wouldn't. I ain't gonna get my number playing
with my big titty pick. Finally, Drew says something right. Oh, that's good shit. We just got to start from a place we all agree on. Lamar won you 1,200 in fantasy. Again, I love him as a fantasy quarterback. I'll take his ass all day.
And look, he's always the first quarterback off the board. Everybody wants Patrick Mahomes, but he's the first one.
No doubt.
But he put up video game numbers. It's just crazy.
He's a cheat code. He's a cheat code.
He's a cheat code. But the thing is, and here's the other thing I'll tell you. I don't know that the coaching staff puts him in a great position in the playoffs. For instance, that fucking Buffalo game this year. What the fuck was that? You decide that you're gonna have him beat Josh Allen with his fucking arm? Or that was last year, and then this past season, did the same thing with the Chiefs. What are you doing? Run the fucking football.
You handicap him.
Run the ball.
Now, you know what, Jaron O'Neal
gave you chances to win that game doing what you do.
You know what, Jaron O'Neal, to his question, Lamar and Peyton, it took Peyton 12 years in his career before we could really answer that question about Peyton.
Bullshit.
He was the greatest regular season quarterback of all time.
There was one team that he wasn't beating in those first few, and it wasn't 12.
New England.
It was early, but they couldn't beat Belichick in that defense. And that was the only team that he wasn't beating. Everybody else, he whipped the shit out.
Playoffs. He choked in the playoffs until he got.
You call it choking, except that you're losing to the best defense every year, and it wasn't. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
The best regular season quarterback of all time.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, he was. Because until then, it was always going to be Montana, Brady, and anybody else you want to put. But once he got them two, that's when he got over the hump.
The Brady GOAT conversation, man, we're going to get way off topic here, but the Brady GOAT conversation would never be had if it wasn't for the defenses that the Patriots had early in his career. That allowed him time to become great. Because he wasn't great. He just didn't have a bunch of fucking turnovers early. And that staff was so prepared all the time that it allowed him to get to where he got to. Man, come on, bro.
Come on. I'm just going to say, I don't know how you blame a motherfucker for having the tools in their tool belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he had everything in the tool belt. Like so you want to come up without the hammer, without the coach, it ain't his fault.
I'm telling you that if you're gonna sit here and we easily always throw Tom Brady past Peyton like it's just guaranteed. I don't. I think Peyton was a better quarterback.
Okay, all right. I don't want to go down there.
Brady had the best team.
Played for Bill Belichick's defenses early in his career. How many fucking Super Bowls you think he has?
If wasn't Phil, we'll be drunk. You can't blame the man because he was there. That's where he went.
The point I'm making is it's not as cut and dried that Brady's the GOAT if it wasn't for the fact that he played for Bill Belichick and got drafted by Bill. Who else is even going to draft him?
Jason, it is cut and dry call. That's where it happened. Everything you talking about is speculation. Everything that happened, Brady is better. Everything you talking about is speculation. If he would have did it.
No. Brady wasn't better than him until the end of his career. He was not better than him early in their career. He played on a better team. That's the argument that people make about they use Super Bowls to make this argument is not a good argument. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Super Bowls does not make you the GOAT. Being all of that stuff together is what it has to take. Now, he has those yards because he played longer than everybody else.
That he fought
until when Peyton hit the wall, he wasn't until Peyton hit the wall, as far as arm talent was concerned, he wasn't close to Peyton. His teams were better.
But the thing I'm saying to you, Jason, what you don't realize, every time I say something about Brady, it's his fault. Like every time it's something good about Brady, you make it cause it was like he was privileged, like he didn't work for nothing. But Peyton Manning.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but every time I say
you knock that shit off putting words in my mouth. No.
Every time I bring up a point about how good Brady was, you say something to tear it down.
You don't. No, I'm telling you that if we're talking about Peyton and Brady, I'm saying Peyton was better.
Okay, all right.
Peyton was better. That's why I don't like making these. I don't like making these comparisons or
how you feel, because ain't no numbers say he better, but that's how you feel.
At the end of their careers, when one played longer, I'm saying in the prime of their career, if I was going to call one the GOAT in the prime of their career, it's not Brady. In fact, it wouldn't be Peyton either. It'd be John Elway.
So you put caveats now? You want to go to a certain?
John Elway only won 2 Super Bowls. I still think he's the best talent as far as the quarterback that I've ever seen.
What? You know, I ain't gonna go down there, Reb. You say you take him, and I'm stop. I'm gonna stop, Coach.
No. Why? Don't be scared. You can talk that shit. I'm telling you what I'm talking about.
So what? If he ain't got no numbers better than Brady, but what makes him better? Because this how you feel. Because you can't tell me now statistically.
You know what? Let's look at their statistics together. We'll do that, because I'm going to tell you that his numbers were always better until his career ended, and then Brady passed him.
That Brady fault too. He played long. He played long, huh?
No, it's not Brady's fault. He played longer.
Okay, I'm surprised you didn't say that.
At the years that they played in their prime together, who had better numbers? Okay, thought so. Thank you. His career stats, Peyton Manning's career stats, 71,940. Let's write this shit down.
71,940.
Yep. 71,940, 539 touchdowns, 251 picks. Now, let's go to Tom Brady all time. And chat, I'm upset with y'all that y'all ain't got my back on this part. I already have this shit ready for me, so I don't have to look it up myself. All right. Tom Brady had 89,214, 649 touchdowns.
One number more. Who had the most?
He had more than it's 539. Peyton 640. Brady.
Who had
100 more touchdowns? He had 100 more touchdowns. Yeah.
Who had the most?
He had 100 more touchdowns. Yes, he does. We already knew that. We already knew that.
So why are we looking it up?
We're looking it up because let's also look at how many more years he played than Peyton did.
You can't blame the man because he played longer.
He played 22 years. Peyton played 17. 5 extra years to get 100 more touchdowns. 5 extra years to get 100 more touchdowns, bro.
You're gonna cut the man career 5 yards.
the man that played.
I'm just saying, you can make an excuse, then I can do it too. I can do it with you here. I can tell you that it took him 5 more years to be that much better.
Career.
Context always matters. And that's my line, motherfucking Drew. Context matters. That's my line. You don't get to use that shit and think you get away with it.
Hey, that's like saying LeBron better than Jordan because he played longer.
Oh, you got career stats, then cut 5 years out somebody's career and call it career.
Okay, so you know what? Coach Griggs just asked the right question into what you're saying. Would you make LeBron better than Michael Jordan? Because his numbers are certainly better in certain places.
Listen, his career is better for sure.
Who's better?
In terms of what?
Who's better, LeBron or Michael?
I think Michael's the better player.
Okay. Well,
no, I was just saying some people are calling LeBron the GOAT because he's played longer.
5 more years than Michael Jordan has.
But we're not talking about Michael or LeBron. We're talking about Brady and Manning.
True. I was just trying to do a comparison. That's all.
Yeah, because if you ask me that same question about them, it ain't gonna be the same what I just answered about that. So that's what I'm saying. We that's not the thing.
It's
true.
It is the same thing, though, bro. You're making the same argument. You don't want to make the argument because you don't want it to be true for Michael Jordan. No, you don't want it to be true for Michael Jordan, so you won't make the same argument.
Now you're gonna tell me how to think. What?
I know it. I know how you think. I don't tell you how to think. I know how you think, fool. We're friends.
Crazy.
Hey, Coach, Natty man, tell me. Jason, you all right, man? You got it, man. This man told me, where you hell?
You like Pete and repeat. Y'all crazy, man.
So, Jack Burke. Oh, so do we have a LeBron man here? Dr. J, what stat is Jordan #1 in? I'll tell you one. And this will close down that conversation right now.
Oh, he's gonna pull that stat
up. One player.
Yep.
There's one player who's been MVP, all defensive first team, finals MVP, and led the league in scoring one time. It's happened 4 times, all of them Michael Jordan. There we go.
Hey, Drew, you right. I'm terrible, Drew.
Oh, yeah. Being an antagonist? Yeah. I don't fucking care. I tell you that I think that I do think that Peyton's better than Brady. I understand why people call Brady the GOAT. Hey, you know what? Winner. He had opportunities to win, but in the end, at the end of his career, I don't know that anybody's better late in their career than I've seen out of Brady. No doubt.
As long as you know I ain't making it up, other people think it too.
I think it's subjective when it comes to that because are we gonna do rings? Are we gonna do impactment or what?
That's
what's gonna make that.
What's
gonna make that
right
statement?
Here, because if you look at Marino, look at what he did yardage wise and everything else, but they didn't have a team that was going to win a bunch of fucking Super Bowls. Put him in San Francisco. Is he better than Joe Montana?
There you go with that alternate universe shit again.
The point I'm trying to make is you can't say that Marino's not one of the GOATs because he didn't win a bunch of Super Bowls.
We all know Marino's one of the GOATs, but what we talking about, these guys we talking about are in a different category. Simple.
Yeah, because they played for better teams.
Simple. Whatever you say, Jason, they in different category. Goddamn, that's why they different.
They played for better teams. There's no two ways around it.
But I'm saying, for whatever reason you want to make it, I'm saying they in a different category.
Okay.
Right? Can we agree on that? The guy we talking about in a different category?
I told you earlier that I think that John Elway's the best ever at quarterback. I do. You know what? He lost 3 Super Bowls in like 3 years and got the shit kicked out of him in all 3 of them. Do I think that any of those 3 quarterbacks were better than him that beat their ass? No.
Well, I'm glad this show because I went on mute at your ass.
You would not.
Surely you stupid.
I'll let you talk.
I'm just messing with him,
And
man.
why
I'm
did Jordan
just
play for a better team? Here's the thing on that. Jordan played for a better team. They drafted that team and he didn't just bring in a bunch of guys all the time. It's not even the same era, none of that shit. And that's the other part. You can't breathe on LeBron. They clothesline Michael's ass going to the damn basket.
Well, that's one of my biggest things about LeBron anyway.
It's not
You
good to
6'8",
make comparisons.
260, and somebody barely bump you, you flopping all over the damn ground. That's the one thing that I just don't like. You too big and physical to be doing shit like that.
now they hating on the king, man. Y'all, I ain't
No, man, look, I'm this is just me, shorty. This ain't got nothing to do with Jason. This is just me.
LeBron's great, but it's a better comparison to make with him and Magic Johnson than it is him and Michael.
Man, guy, let's realize we got to keep it all like these are the times. If he was in those times, he would adjust to what they were doing then. You just got to understand. Different time, people adjust to whatever era they in. LeBron would have been able to adjust to whatever they were doing back then, bro.
Sure.
Shorty, I was just saying the antics that he pulls. I'm not talking about the play. I think he's arguably one of the greatest players to ever play. I'm just saying the antics that he does.
At worst, he's
that the flopping and shit. That's all I worry about.
Coach, all of them do it, Coach.
Yeah, but not like LeBron though. Not like LeBron though. Come on now, shorty. Now I'm a LeBron fan. I'm just telling you, all the antics. You ain't gotta do that shit.
You got to, Coach. That's why we get the call. That's just Coach. You know, come on, Coach. That's just part of the game. That's the head game. Come on, man. Don't knock the
Well, I'm just saying that's what he's known for. LaFlop. That's what he's known for because that's what everybody calls it because of what he does. I'm not saying
there's a lot of things that you can. There's a lot of things I respect about LeBron. To the
time
Say it again now.
I say he's known for the all-time leading scorer too.
Yes. Hey, I'm sitting here. Look, okay. I'll try to do it like this. I'll try to do it like this. Okay, and hopefully you won't get mad at me for saying this. All right. As of right now, a player, all-around player, LeBron is arguably the greatest player to ever have the longest career, or the best player. Can we agree on that? One of the greatest players.
We can agree on that as long as we can agree that there might be a reason for that.
Shorty,
I need to hear what else you're gonna say, cause y'all.
No, I'm just saying. I just said he's arguably one of the greatest players to play. Can we agree on that?
I think he's top 3 at worst. He's top.
Okay. Now, we can break it down to so many different characteristics. We can say greatest player. We can say the greatest big man, the greatest shooter. We can do all this. So it's very subjective when we say the greatest player ever. We're saying LeBron's that because he got the scoring title. Is that why we're saying that?
No, Coach. You know how I look at it, Coach? I say this here. We go to a basketball court. The first guy you gonna take? Period.
Michael Jordan.
So that's who you feel the best in. I'm talking about starting team, your franchise. First you gonna take.
If I'm starting a team and I get the first dibs, I'm taking someone like a Bill Russell, or I'm taking someone like a Shaq.
In today's game,
can't take but one goddamn. We can't take. Sorry,
I'm just saying if we're starting a team, we didn't say what era. We just said taking it. Jason.
Let me just ask that. Let me just ask you. Let me add that caveat. Then in today's game, you would take Bill Russell, and you wouldn't take Bill Russell over Wilt, would you?
No, I'm just saying if he said we're building a team, he didn't say what era. He just said I'm building a team.
Right, I don't care what era. I'm just talking about right now for all the knowledge that you got of basketball. If you got to start your franchise, what player you taking number one throughout? I don't care who you pick, any era. Who you start your franchise out with?
Magic.
Right? Oh wow.
I
don't hate Magic. I don't hate the Magic call.
Okay.
I want someone that's going to just. No, we all know. Now, look, we all know, and we love Michael. We fans, but we all know Michael was a selfish. I'm not passing the ball to you in under 2 minutes.
Whoa. That's not.
God. Y'all just made him a god. But when I'm talking about how y'all gonna not take the best player all time all of a sudden, y'all just making the man a god.
I said, if we're building a team,
it's always going to be my.
You said if we're building a team, I say Magic because I want somebody that's going to distribute the ball. He's the best point guard to me. He's the best 6'8", 6'9" point guard.
Hey, Jerry O'Neal know what I'm talking about, man. I'm like, Jason, I'm gonna pick out the comment with him.
I see what he's saying. Mike is the GOAT. LeBron is the best ever. You're talking all around player, that he does all those other things. I get it.
Right. Exactly.
I don't even know that I agree with that, but I think the best player of all time, the best competitor, winner, you can do all of it. Michael did it in a shorter amount of time than any of that shit that we're talking about with LeBron. And LeBron has his extra time in it. That's fine. You could put a lot of that on the fact that they don't beat the shit out of LeBron the way that they did those guys back in the day. And you could also say that he might have had some help. He might have had a little help. That's all. Who's the best of all time? It's Jordan.
Yes. Yes.
That will always be it for everybody.
Not for everybody. There's a lot of people that say LeBron, and they're full of shit.
Man, come on now. Come on. I mean, it's just because this generation, they don't know, they've never seen Michael.
Yeah, if you saw them both, then you know better.
They've never seen Michael. This generation, I got my nephew, he don't know who Michael is. He thinks that LeBron walks on water. He don't know who Michael is.
I ain't gonna do this tonight, but I'm gonna send this to you. I sent this out to my guys the other day, and I'm gonna send this to you behind the chat. I might send it to YouTube, coach.
All right.
I'm gonna need your starting defense of all time. 4-3, 3-4, however you want to do it. And I need your offense. Running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. No offensive lineman.
College or NFL?
NFL.
Okay. All right.
Say it again now. You need what?
The starting defense, no matter what position or like what defense they were in, and your starting offense. How many receivers you want?
We just go stand and get 2 receivers. No, we go 3 receivers, 1 running back. Or you can do a vice versa. 2 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback.
Okay.
So you can do a 2 receiver set, 2 backs, or you can do a 3 receiver set, 1 back.
We'll do that. You come on next Saturday night, and we'll do that. We'll put that in.
Okay.
All right. You down for that, Coach Riggs?
Yes. Yeah. I'm free. I'm free on Saturday now. Football's over.
Almost 3 hours, so we're gonna go ahead and kill it.
Well, look, I know some of y'all gonna be putting Jack the Hammer in there and all that from the 30s.
Okay, starting defense, starting offense.
But I tell you what, I may have an Otis Taylor in there for you somewhere.
You is at tight end.
Listen. I'm gonna tell everybody right now, and I'm gonna be pissed if he's not on everybody's damn list. If Lawrence Taylor is not on your defensive line, I'm choking everybody's ass.
No doubt. Reggie White's got to be on there too, though.
Reggie White got to be on there.
Oh man, what y'all doing? What y'all jumping the gun?
Okay, my bad. I'm stopping. Starting defense.
Saturday night, right here.
Starting offense.
On the
hold on. Starting defense, starting offense, and what else?
That's it. We're gonna so on the defense, you're gonna have your whole 11 on defense, right? Whether it's 3-3-5, whatever. But on offense, do everybody except offensive line.
Everybody no offensive lines. Okay.
Line.
Only skill guys.
Right, and you can do 3 receivers and run 1 back, which is 11 personnel, or you can do it however you want to, 12 personnel, 11 personnel, however you want to, but it's gonna still be only tight ends, receivers, and quarterbacks and running backs.
All right. Now, is there a set amount of people, or is it just 11? Just 11, right? 11 on defense, 11 on offense. So no more than that.
I only have 5 offensive linemen, right? So the skill position going to be 6, right? So you can only have 6 on offense.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, since we can't do the whole offensive line, could we make those up with more skill players?
No.
5 offensive linemen, right? 5 offensive linemen and a tight end.
Well, we weren't doing offensive line, but if y'all just want to do it,
no, let's not, because
let's do 6. Okay, so 6 skill players. 6 skill players. That's what it is. Okay.
1 quarterback, 1 running back or 2, however you want to do it. 3 receivers or 2, however you want to do it.
Gotcha.
1 tight end or 2 tight, however you want to do that. You know, mix up. You know what I'm saying? But only 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Cool.
Good.
Six total. 6 total is what you're looking. Now, what about on defense? What are we looking at then?
11.
Oh, on defense.
All 11?
11. All
Right.
11.
Okay. All right, cool.
Gotcha.
Yep. Next
And
Saturday night, right here on the late shift. We'll do it. It's all about it. Hey, I'm down for all that shit. I love it. I love shit like this. I love shit like this. Giving me content, I love it. At all times. For real, though.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I appreciate everybody coming in. Hey, Shawty, tell everybody how to find you before you get your ass out of here.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for coming on, man. Jason, I think this actually might be on to something, man. You can catch us late birds, man, at night, man. Keep doing what you do, man. Shout out to Coach Rick, man. Y'all can find me on Just My Damn Opinion. Just hit the like button, man. Hit the subscribe button, man. The notification button. You'll find me whenever I'm on, man. Shout out to everybody, man, in the comments.
Right on, man. We appreciate you, brother. Coach Ricks, tell everybody how to find you as well.
Hey, man, you can find me on YouTube, man, on any social outlet, man. Coaches Talk, man, me and Bishop Franks, man, mainly on Thursdays. So we're going to try to get back to that. Other than that, man, you can catch me on there or catch me on your show, man, whenever you invite me on.
You're always invited on, bro. Come on. You're always invited on.
Hey, man, if I'm up, I'm past my curfew.
All right, listen, I get it. I mean, that's why I don't always say anything, because I know I come on late and I know your ass is usually asleep. But hey, man,
be busy man.
Yeah, I'm just off tomorrow or something.
I am on all times of the day and night, just so we understand who is the hardest worker in YouTube land. It's right here.
That's you.
It's right here. But no, I appreciate
it. Hey, Drew said let him tell them where they can find him.
Yeah, well, they can find his ass here. They always find him here. That's where he's at. So yeah,
man. Shout out for Drew, man, taking it on the chin, man, being a real G.
Hey, man, shout out to
Drew. Hey, Drew. I'm gonna say this, man.
Calls in is makes me happy. I'll just say that.
Yes,
I know people were busting your chops. We were busting your chops. I appreciate coming back at each other and having
pushback.
We'll come on and have the conversation. I want more people to do that. Make sure you guys are ready to call in next weekend to do it. Neilio, you'll be at the lake. Try to get your ass up anyways and do it. You're part of the reason I come on Saturdays, coming in late and shit. All right, man. Appreciate everybody for coming in. We'll see you all on the next one.